Osjećaj dok igram je jako poseban zato što u tom trenutku apsolutno ne razmišljam ni o čemu drugom, već samo o potezu sledećem koji ću da uradim ili koji sam već uradio. Osjećam se jako snažno i pun samopouzdanja. Zato mi je probijanje granica jako zgodno. Ja sam Novak, breakdancer i mi fan.
Xiaomi.
Urbana kultura je kao druga kuća ljudima koji se osjećaju drugačije. Breakdance je ekstreman ples koji dolazi iz urbane kulture. Break je jako poseban meni zato što je oformio moj personalitet. Pre sam bio jako tih i povučen. Ovaj ples mi je otvorio vrata zato što sam sada mnogo direktniji i slobodniji. Break je ekstreman ples koji te tera da prelaziš svoje granice zato što iz tebe izlači neku ekstremnu snagu. To znači da se zaista možete povrediti. Poprilično i zato ekstreman. Bio sam povređen. Imao sam povredu kolena. ta povreda me jako uplašila zato što kada se desila, mislio sam da nikada opet neću moći da plešem. Prevazišao sam povredu s pomoć mojih drugara koji nikada nisu odustajali od mene, čak ni kada sam pauzirao sa treningom. I shvatio sam da bez toga ja nisam ja i zato sam nastavio sa treningom. Osjećaj dok igram je jako poseban zato što u tom trenutku apsolutno ne razmišljam ni o čemu drugom, već samo o potezu sledećem koji ću da uradim ili koji sam već uradio. Osjećam se jako, snažno i pun samopouzdanja. Zato mi je probijanje granica jako zgodnjivo. Ja sam Novak, breakdancer i mi fan.
Xiaomi.
Urbana kultura je kao druga kuća ljudima koji se osjećaju drugačije. Breakdance je ekstreman ples koji dolazi iz urbane kulture. Break je jako poseban meni zato što je oformio moj personalitet. Pre sam bio jako tih i povučen. Ovaj ples mi je otvorio vrata zato što sam sada mnogo direktniji i slobodniji. Break je ekstreman ples koji te tera da prelaziš svoje granice zato što iz tebe izvlači neku ekstremnu snagu. To znači da se zaista možete povrediti. Poprilično i zato ekstreman. Bio sam povređen. Imao sam povredu kolena. Ta povreda me jako uplašila zato što kada se desila, mislio sam da nikada opet neću moći da plešem. Prevazišao sam povredu s pomoć mojeg drugara koji nikada nisu odustajali od mene, čak ni kada sam pauzirao sa treningom. I shvatio sam da bez toga ja nisam ja i zato sam nastavio sa treningom. Osjećaj dok igram je jako poseban zato što u tom trenutku apsolutno ne razmišljam ni o čemu drugom, već samo o potezu sledećem koji ću da uradim ili koji sam već uradio. Osjećam se jako, snažno i pun samopouzdanja. Zato mi je probijanje granica jako zgodno. Ja sam Novak, breakdancer i mi fan. Urbana kultura je kao druga kuća ljudima koji se osjećaju drugačije. Breakdance je ekstreman ples koji dolazi iz urbane kulture. Break je jako poseban meni zato što je oformio moj personalitet. Pre sam bio jako tih i povučen. Ovaj ples mi je otvorio vrata zato što sam sada mnogo direktniji i slobodniji. Break je ekstreman ples koji te tera da prelaziš svoje granice zato što iz tebe izlači neku ekstremnu snagu. To znači da se zaista možete povrediti. Poprilično i zato ekstreman. Bio sam povređen. Imao sam povredu kolena. Ta povreda me jako uplašila zato što kada se desila, mislio sam da nikada opet neću moći da plešem. Prevazišao sam povredu s pomoć mojeg drugara koji nikada nisu odustajali od mene, čak ni kada sam pauzirao sa treningom. I shvatio sam da bez toga ja nisam ja i zato sam nastavio sa treningom. Osjećaj dok igram je jako poseban zato što u tom trenutku apsolutno ne razmišljam ni o čemu drugom, već samo o potezu sledećem koji ću da uradim ili koji sam već uradio. Osjećam se jako, snažno i pun samopouzdanja. Zato mi je probijanje granica jako zgodno. Ja sam Novak, breakdancer i mi fan.
The crowd.
Urbana kultura je kao druga kuća ljudima koji se osjećaju drugačije. Breakdance je ekstreman ples koji dolazi iz urbane kulture. Break je jako poseban meni zato što je oformio moj personalitet. Pre sam bio jako tih i povučen. Ovaj ples mi je otvorio vrata zato što sam sada mnogo direktniji i slobodniji. Break je ekstreman ples koji te tera da prelaziš svoje granice zato što iz tebe izlači neku ekstremnu snagu. To znači da se zaista možete povrediti. Poprilično i zato ekstreman. Bio sam povređen. Imao sam povredu kolena. Ta povreda me jako uplašila zato što kada se desila, mislio sam da nikada opet neću moći da plešem. Prevazišao sam povredu s pomoć mojeg drugara koji nikada nisu odustajali od mene, čak ni kada sam pauzirao sa treningom. I shvatio sam da bez toga ja nisam ja i zato sam nastavio sa treningom. Osjećaj dok igram je jako poseban zato što u tom trenutku apsolutno ne razmišljam ni o čemu drugom, već samo o potezu sledećem koji ću da uradim ili koji sam već uradio. Osjećam se jako, snažno i pun samopouzdanja. Zato mi je probijanje granica jako zgodnjivo. Ja sam Novak, breakdancer i mi fan. Urbana kultura je kao druga kuća.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome, beautiful faces, over here to the Xiaomi's fans page, PUBG Mobile battle game, Soul Survivor. Hope you're all having an absolutely fantastic start to your weekend, and it's my absolute pleasure and honor to bring you today's action and today's games right to your face. With that said, my name is Maxman. I'm going to be one of your casters for today, but as you know, a caster can never be alone, so I'm going to be joined by my partner in crime, Imperium, to bring you the 3 games today. How you doing, man? How you looking?
I'm doing pretty good. I think I look okay. Do I look okay? Is it okay?
I was going to say, you look like you're about to chop a tree right now. I'm just saying, you know.
You know what? I'm ready to chop down these games. I don't know if that's the right way of putting it. Indeed,
yeah, we'll try.
Incredibly excited to bring the action and to watch all these teams represented in different countries in this fantastic event brought to you by Xiaomi. It's really exciting. It's good to cast teams that are not maybe as well known and are given this kind of opportunity to face up against each other, considering we're used to maybe casting more global higher tier teams. So this is really awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And typically, these are also the type of events where we do see the new rising stars. We've got a few teams also, I think especially one that's going to be participating in the PMWI just kicking off next week. That's going to be, we'll talk about them a little bit more specific, but Rad, that's the team we're going to be looking out for. We're going to have teams from all over the globe, from all over the place trying to participate. So not only is this going to be a clash of individuals and teams, but also is going to be a clash of metas. You're going to have teams that, this is the very first time going up against each other. So you might have a team that is really good with utility, a team that's really good around rotations, and some teams that have some really good gunplay. Typically, that's the one that's favored in these kind of situations.
Yeah, and I love, you know, as a caster and as an analyst or an analytical caster, so to speak, I love being open to teams showing me what they have rather than me expecting something from a team. When I get to know a team, I'm always going to be expecting some things, but when I'm, you know, casting teams that I'm not too aware of for the first time, I'm like, yes, show me what you can do. Show me what you have to offer. Bring out some big brain plays, because not only am I going to learn, but I'm going to be able to point that out, highlight it in a good way, or potentially in a bad way. And again, experiences like this, opportunities like this is all about kind of, you know, that stepping stone towards bigger and better opportunities along the line. And again, big shout out to Xiaomi for putting this event on and giving these teams the opportunity.
Yeah, of course, you know, this is going to be an event that's brought to you and powered by the phone, the Redmi Note 10 5G. And we've got a lot of things to say here, Imperium, onto this one, but the first thing that I have to say is we are going to be having some questions going throughout the broadcast. We're going to be sprinkling through, and there's going to be prizes for all you guys in the chat, especially on YouTube, to win some prizes. Going to be some phones, there's going to be some earbuds, going to have a lot of things to win. So you got to pay very close attention to things that myself and Imperium are about to say, because we might have a few little extra piece of information that you need for the questions that are going to be coming on later on. So to start things off, you got to know that this device, the Redmi Note 10 5G, or if you're in Russia, it's called the Redmi Note 10T, has got the 5G high-performance processor to support all of your speed needs. So sporting the powerful MediaTek Dimensity 700 5G chipset, the Redmi Note 10 5G is ready to support you in and challenge the boundaries of gaming performance. Its 7nm processing technology and integrated modem offer high performance with lower power consumption, so users can enjoy prolonged use of their device without worrying about power drain, which is really good if you want big gaming sessions on PUBG Mobile. Just going to say that. With the support for your 5G dual SIM, the Redmi Note 10 5G is a productivity beast. Big time, big gamers, and also if you guys are not gamers, still going to be a really good device for you out there, Imperium.
Yeah, and outside of the chipset that's on offer, the device comes with a 6.5-inch FHD Plus dot display with 90 Hz refresh rate, which I think is very important in modern mobile gaming. And it offers that beautiful display with smooth usage. And beyond the 90 Hz, what is great about it is that the phone offers the capability of adjusting automatically from streaming at 30 Hz, or whether you're scrolling through social media at 60 Hz or gaming at 90 Hz. It guarantees a smooth experience and optimum battery usage.
Yeah, that's going to be one good thing to go for. But also, you know what? If you want to step up your selfie game, this device is also going to be perfect for you guys at home. Boasting a 48 megapixel triple rear camera, the Redmi Note 10 5G was made to create. Its triple camera setup includes be careful, we're going to start off with a 48 megapixel main camera, a 2 megapixel macro camera, and also 2 megapixel depth sensor. While its creativity tools, because it got a bunch of those, such as the night mode, the slow motion, or even the time-lapse video, turning any user into a creative professional. So unlike me, if you do want to step up your selfie game, you can do it. But I look like a potato, so it doesn't matter. It won't change me. I'll just look like a very high-quality potato.
Oh, man. And look, to top it all off, the Redmi Note 10 5G or the Redmi Note 10T, it touts a massive 5,000 mAh battery with 18-watt fast charging. So users can stay powered up throughout the day and during heavy usage. Right, so you can game for hours upon hours upon hours and you don't have to worry about it. Honestly, a 5,000 mAh battery is pretty big. So put it all together, you're looking at a pretty stunky device, if I do say so myself.
It's a gamer's battery's dream, okay? We're going to be getting into that one. But of course, PUBG Mobile's a game. We're not going to lie, okay? We love PUBG Mobile, but we know it does drain your battery a little bit. So you've got to have something that can withstand PUBG Mobile, and this is definitely what this phone can do. Though, now I'm talking about the device, we're going to be talking about teams, because that's also what we're here for today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have great participating teams, 12 in total, coming out from all different places in the world. But Imperium, what strikes me, I'm going to be a little bit biased. I'm French. There's a French team. I'm going to be hoping to see them do really well.
I knew you were going to say that when I saw it. I was like, there's a French team. Oh my God, here comes the baguette bias on board. I'm also very excited to see the Pakistani team, Team Rage, being played out, as well as obviously Rad flying on through. They're representing Egypt. So there's a lot of pride to be played out by these teams and a lot of opportunities to prove themselves to us and the viewers watching.
Yeah, there's so many teams here that I'm hoping to do really well. One in specific is going to be Rad, right? Then the PMWI, and I want to see how they can perform in an event like this. They should be coming into this as a very clear favorite in my mind, but we never know. We might have some very niche talent that has yet to see the light of day when it comes to the international and the wider stage of PUBG Mobile esports. But Imperium, talking about the wider stage, we're going to have some pretty wild battlegrounds today, as we're going to have 3 games coming your way. We know we're not going to have the usual 4, 5, 6 games a day. No, we're going to be pretty quick, pretty snappy, which means that it's even more important right now for these teams to perform on these 3 games. Every bad game you have, technically that's a third of your points gone. So you need to do good on every single game to try and be on the top at the end.
Normally I talk about consistency in competitive PUBG Mobile. No, this is all about
not today.
heavy hitting games. Not today, no. This is all about really punching above your weight. You need to really go out there and grab 8-10 kills per game. Yeah, okay, getting that chicken dinner, of course, that's going to be a very big difference maker, but I really feel like grabbing those massive kill games with the 3rd place will really add more value, because if you're relying on that chicken dinner, like you said, you get that one bad result, and as a third of your points down the drain, it's really going to be a bit of a challenge, especially because of the fact that we don't have like that full 16 team lobby, so there's even less kills available for the teams, which is going to make the kill points even more important, right? Even more elusive. You know, like trying to pick out that shiny gold card from the pack. You know, you got to grab it while you can.
I still got my cards over here, man. I cracked open a bunch of legendary.
Yeah, I know.
But we're going to be good.
I know.
Though, I'm not gonna lie, coming into this event, I was like, oh man, this is not part of the official circuit. We might have Vikendi. No Vikendi, but it's fine. We'll get Vikendi soon enough in the future. I am sure about it. But one thing we're going to always talk about is going to be the point system. If you guys are somewhat familiar with the official circuit of PUBG Mobile esports in the world, you know that this is very standard when it comes down to it. We used to call it the new one, but it's been applied for years, so it's not new anymore. If you do get yourself a win, it's going to be 15 points, followed up with 2nd with 12. It trickles down, and then from 8th position to 11th, it's only going to be 1 point coming your way, which is, and we know Imperium is definitely not going to be enough if you want to be number 1 at the end. And as usual, also, going to have that 1 point per kill, which is very, very important in this 3-game event.
can't stress it enough. The good thing is that there's only 1 point. You know, you can't get 0 points in the game. You can at least grab a point for finishing down at the bottom of the standings, but still, you can't really afford to be there at the end of the day. Someone has to be there. But looking at the prizes, right, we talked about, you know, what can be won in the YouTube chat by answering the questions. Man, sorry, whoa, I'm getting it wrong. I'm getting it wrong. This is the prize that I'm goes for the winning teams, Max. Sorry, my apologies. The winning team, the first place team, will get, each player will get a brand new Redmi Note 10 5G or a Redmi Note 10T. That's pretty kick-ass, to be fair.
That's a good time to have subs in your team, because the subs get it too. you get even more of a bang for your buck if you're number one at the end. So get as many subs as you can, guys. Second place team is going to be taking that second spot. We'll be taking the Mi Air QS, which is going to be some nice earbuds for yourself to also just make sure you can hear those footsteps of the enemy so they can't try and pull a sneaky on you. And then the third place team will take themselves home some Mi in-air headphones also, which is also going to be good to make sure you don't get sneaked upon. So some really big prizes, but Imperium maybe made you a little bit sad, like, I wanted to win a bunch of these. You got some questions going to be sprinkled once again throughout the broadcast. So if you want to win yourself, maybe, I don't know, maybe a phone, maybe some earbuds. Hey, keep on listening, keep on watching, and we'll definitely have an opportunity for all of you people in the chat to win some awesome prizes brought to you by Xiaomi. So better pay attention, and especially to what we said earlier, because I think maybe the answers were sprinkled in there. I don't know. Maybe they are. Who knows?
Hey, look, you know, being Irish, I'm used to finding the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Finding the answers at the end of the for these questions might be at the end of the rainbow, or might be sprinkled across what we gave you informational wise about the fantastic Xiaomi devices. But yeah, Max, like, these games, really, I can never not be excited about watching teams play PUBG Mobile and watching how they drop, how they rotate, and how they're going to set themselves up coming into the late stages of the game. It's going to be very exciting to witness.
Yeah, we talked about the clash of metas. That's going to be pretty important, and we're hoping to see teams adapt into this one. But I do hear that we're going to get into the game very, very soon for our first game of the day, first game of 3. So you better get ready, get nice and seated, get yourself some popcorn and also a drink, because we're going to have some good action coming your way. And we talked about a few teams. We talked about Rad, right, from Egypt, that is participating in the PMWI, the World Invitational, in less than a week, actually. So they are definitely going to use this as some kind of training ground, and we're hoping to see them perform really well. But one of the teams that I'm looking at Imperium here, and is mainly based because of the region which they play, is 997H. Reason why they're in Russia, right? And you got teams like Kunina Power, 1218, Na'Vi, and I think that they can heavily get inspired by those teams in their respective regions. So if they can just take even a slim portion of that gameplay and apply it to their own games, I think that they could be a big surprise coming into the event.
I'm really glad you brought up that team, to be fair, because yes, you are 100% right. The strength of the Russian region as a whole in terms of pool of teams that are more than capable of being able to compete with the best in the world. So it is quite obvious that coming into this, the Russian team are looking to be powerhouses again, touching upon that level of aggressiveness that I want to see. I expect it to be coming out from that team, especially.
Yeah, just wanted to ask you, because you talked about Russia, we talked about Egypt. Are there any other regions you might think could be coming out as a little bit of a dark horse in this event, or are you going to be sticking with the likes of Russia, Egypt? I could talk about France, but I'll keep them for later once we get into the game.
Honestly, like, it's a good question, to be fair, Max. I'm trying to keep an open mind, because it's always good to have those kind of like speculative, stat-based expected teams that are gonna perform. But again, it goes back to what I mentioned. Open mind, open door, team, step on up, walk in and show me what you've got. I want to see all of the teams in some way, shape, or form across these 3 games show us what they've got.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing what they got indeed Imperium. But you know what? We're going to be seeing also what this playing path has for us and what the Battlegrounds of Erangel have for us. The Grassy Pastures are going to be on the menu for game number 1 of the Xiaomi fans PUBG Mobile battle game, Soul Survivor. And yeah, we said it, right? We've got so many teams, so many X factors. We do not know what to expect from these guys. So we're hoping to be surprised right off the bat, right as the gates open in this very first game. And the playing path, a little bit tricky. Not the most enjoyable. You can see it's pretty southern. Does tend to go onto the more eastern coastline this time around. So if you are a team that like to play George Pole, and we know from the past a lot of teams like to do that, you might have to go for a little bit of a longer drop or go for a second drop location. Hopefully, you have one ready to go.
Of course, the fact that there's, you know, only 12 teams, or it's not a full 16-team lobby, should mean that there's way more landmass available in the first 2 or 3 circles. So we should have a relatively quiet game. And let's see how it goes.
Wait. It's Kopyakulle. Oh my, he's a homie. I know him. Because he's French. Okay, fair enough. But I know him. He's a caster. He casts in French for PUBG Mobile. I did not know he was participating in this event. Man, that makes me real happy, chappy. This is going to be it. We're going to be moving on forward here. This is going to be Xiaomi Esports France. Because they're going to be dropping on down and going for a little bit of a wider spread. They're going to be very far away from each other, so hopefully they don't get any encounters. But as Imperium rightly mentioned, they are going to be just 12 teams in this lobby. So a lot more breathing space, especially in the early game. You should be good to go. And if there is an early altercation, you should know that that is definitely not worth it, and you should try and leave, because we brought it up many times. There's only 3 games, 1 bad game, and you're basically out of the race for number 1.
For sure. We can see Quart 9 from Poland. And I've casted this team before. Don't know if it's the same roster, but I definitely recognize the team name. I'm expecting pretty good stuff from them, to be fair. We can see they have the Tri-Buggy on board. Always difficult vehicle to control, but with it being the early game, it should be good to go.
Yeah, typically what you do with that one, you pop the wheel on the right side, I believe it is, and it's a lot smoother experience. But not everyone knows that. There you go, pro tip for you guys at home. There you go, do that. Definitely don't drive that one on Miramar, because that's just, you're asking to just crash like an Imperium every time we play together. We can't drive anyway, so we just do it by foot. That's the way efficient, man, and you showed you're not going to crash.
I can barely drive in real life. Never mind them PUBG, man. That's not God sucks. I've had so many car crashes.
Do you have your driver's license? Do you have one?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I haven't driven a vehicle IRL for well, other than rental vehicles. I haven't owned a vehicle in IRL for a couple of years because a couple of rough experiences. So transferring that onto PUBG Mobile, it's like, no, I'm gonna crash all the time. And yeah, I tend not to have the best of experience, but these teams are certainly going to have a positive experience across these 3 games today. Hopefully, at least. We saw Team BNL on our screens just moments ago. Belgium and Netherlands together as one. Those countries, on a side note, have been to both places a couple of times, and we currently have Morocco on our screens as well. Again, because a lack of full, or the non-16 teams lobby, it is going to be that relatively early passive game. So it's just trying to set ourselves up and the teams to really loot up as much as possible, grab all the utility they can for that mid to late stages of the game.
Yeah, I find it very interesting, actually, that you mentioned Morocco, especially. This is not a region that we see too many individuals or teams from. We have covered some, for sure. I could not bring up the names because I think by now we covered like hundreds of teams.
Snake Squad is the biggest one I know from the past, I believe.
Yeah, man, I feel bad now. But yes, you're right. Snake Squad back in the days. Hey, there you go. Imperium knows. I know drop location, he knows teams. That's how it goes. That's why we work so well together. We make up for the weaknesses of the other people. Though, Avi, Benjamin's going to be inside the river. They're having a little dip. There's no reason to be there. You're just a sitting duck, literally. So they're going to be taking that boat. Where are they deciding to go? This is such a... you do not see this happen. This is an interesting one. If one team is holding onto the ridgeline of that river, you're done. You cannot escape because you're way too close to the mainland.
I'm curious. It's an unorthodox rotation across the river. The main reason why I'm not a fan of it in this situation, and it kind of touches back about what I talked about, what I mentioned with loot, because there's 20 less players in the lobby compared to what would be a normal competitive lobby. can't, let's say, pick up an early squad up and loot their bodies, right? You are fully, for the most part, reliant on what you can pick up in the looting phase, which should technically be extended. Whereas if you're now in a boat going through the river, yeah, it technically might be quicker, but you're also not in a vehicle going from compound to compound, looting, setting yourself up, getting enough meds, getting the right armor, getting the right amount of nades and smokes for that late stage of the game. So, you know, as much as now they stopped and they're looting up, I gotta low-key criticize that boatation across the river.
Yeah, I do understand though, because also the lobby's a lot smaller. There's only 12 teams. You're going to be having a way lower chance of encountering teams. But because you come into this lobby and I believe a lot of the players do not know the drops of the other squads, I might be thinking, if a team drops in Yasnaya, here's us, we're in trouble. So I would not take that risk. But I understand also it is just, you know, YOLO, we're just going to go for it. They got a decent position, but they're still going to have to move into the circle itself. Though, we're going to have a first altercation. Here's going to be 997H from Russia. Taking the engage versus team number 1, and that's going to be Quarant9. Very original name. Oh, original. I like the name. I find it very funny. It makes me go, haha. But they're going to be taking that engage as Chemo Boy trying to get the most information with that third-person perspective, as Chari's going to be pushing forward. It will not get shut down by Chemo Boy just yet.
Normally, I'm not a fan of holding on to the side of the walls, but when you're in a defensive position, I think it can work out. Sushi on towards the roof of the building, shots being fired out, but Chemo Boy doing a wonderful job of providing that cover. But the pushes come in, this second knock being laid out. Quarant9 is on top, but it's been a return knock onto one of their players.
Amazing position from Sushi. Chemo Boy is going to be put now as a one-man army and gets completely overwhelmed. Sushi, what was that? That was absolutely disgusting. Smurfs it up, and they remain as a 4-man crew. What a play coming out from Quarant9.
Yeah, strong offensive push. It seemed like they knew where they wanted to go. I don't mind the defense from 997H, but I felt like it was very reactive rather than proactive. Chemo Boy held on to a good position on the side of the wall, but the rest of the team also need to be available to create that kind of isolation so that Chemo Boy can play around the side of the wall, whereas they got picked off pretty much one by one, and outside of a knock being laid out onto one of the Quarant9 players, there's really no retaliation from 997H. Man, a little bit disappointing, again, especially from a team from Russia, which we can't help but expect better things from.
Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, right? That was a reactive play instead of a proactive play. And they just responding to the situation at hand, and they were not trying to take control. And when you see how aggressive a player like Sushi actually is, you know that if you are the one just getting bullied and just getting pushed around like a ragdoll, you're not going to make anything work. So hopefully coming into the next 2 games, that is something they can work on. But ready, down to 10 teams, only 40 players up and ready to go. A little bit unfortunate start for them, but we'll see if they can make the comeback in at Game 2 and Game 3 on Miramar and Sanhok alike. Though Haku is going to be able to get himself a little bit of information for the French team of Xiaomi Esport France. Did not know that Xiaomi had a French esport team, but I love that. Thanks for supporting the French esport ecosystem. That's cool. Coolios. They're going to be moving out, not ready to take the shots because they don't want the attention, especially when you would get pinned right in front of the water. That is not an easy position to move away from.
Yeah, they've got to be very proactive with their movement, I feel, coming out from Xiaomi Sport France, because they're sticking to that coastal line for the time being. Now, phase 1 is starting to close in. Teams have plenty of space around them. I'm curious if Aegon and the... Sounds like Aegon, but Aegon and the rest of the team are aware of Xiaomi Esport France, but it doesn't seem to be the case, as Rad, we talked about them going to be participating in the upcoming PMWI. They're still outside the circle. Don't mind it because it's phase 1 and lack of bodies in the lobby leaves more space around them, but they're still realistically without the information of where any of the teams are around them, so they should still bear that with caution when entering this phase 1.
Yeah, I would actually be very stressed out coming into the lobby like this. Not having 16 teams, you're like, this is so silent. There's nothing going on. And I would just be scared all the time and like a sneaky devil right behind me and just sneaking on me in the
like
grass, and then you're done so. Yeah, exactly, right? Man, I always feel like in a horror movie. Man, if I was in a horror movie, I know I would be the first one to go. I mean, how do you even go into a situation like that? Like, you see a haunted mansion, like, yeah, how about we go in? I'm running away, man. I'm I'm not taking that risk. I don't get it. What, would you go in a haunted mansion just for the thrill of it or not?
I'd love to say I would.
You wouldn't.
But I don't know if I would, to be fair. Yeah. Like, that's the thing, like, it's one of those things where you're like, yeah, I'd be able to do that easy because you're not in the position where you have to. But if you're put in that position, you know, I don't think I would. I'm not really a massive fan of horror movies because I don't find myself being scared of them. In terms of watching a horror movie, I'm like, yeah, okay, it's not real, whatever. But if it was a party of haunted mansion and there was an eerie feel of like something's about to go down that I can't control, then yeah, I don't think I'd be the first person to go there. So yeah, it's I'd be a scaredy cat like you. We'd be huddled in the corner, my friend.
Sounds good. Man, we went on a big tangent there. we went on a big one. Oh, though, that's going to be an engage, going to be happening just now. IUW from Middle East, going to be a little bit spread away from each another, so Solly decides to move away. I would say going for that high ground position will be really good to gather information for the rest of your team, which is exactly what Solly is going to do. Actually, no, he's going to be taking a little bit of a stroll in the sky. You've got to be careful. Those information for scouting and gathering information are so important, especially around the bridge next to George Pole, especially crates. You want to make sure you keep that information coming up, because if a team decides to cross, that could be the easiest 4 kills you've ever had in PUBG Mobile. So I like how we're seeing IUW play around that position, but it seemed like they're trying to push themselves into the compound down below.
And I got to give credit to the Hell Warriors, to be fair, for their ability to throw those shots out there and push back IUW, right? It's such a simple but important factor, especially in the early game. You create, and I talk about it time and time again, you're sick of it at this stage, but that bubble, right? That bubble of control around you, so that initial rotation phase off the back of a next circle shifting is easier for you to deal with and allows you more room to think about what you want to do as a team. Because as much as you can't always control like time and you can't always control the pace of the game, in the early game when there's a much higher chance of you doing it by taking those pot shots, by shooting a couple of bodies that you see close by, that is you controlling that. And the Hell Warriors doing that early on in this game, it leaves me with the positive notion that they're going to be able to pull off, you know, similar things coming into the mid-late stages of the game.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be able to make it work out. So we're going to be looking forward to a few of the teams and how they rotate. Rad, you know, we talked about it already, right? This is a team participating in the PUBG Mobile World Invitational, happening just about a week's time. And a good high ground position. I love this. It's this Pachinki hill over to the western side of Pachinki. And we talked about this spot so many times, and especially with this circle being so easy to play around, is relatively central. It's really good to scout into the center of the circle itself. I think this is one of the best, if not the single best position to play from right now, because you can get information on teams rotating nearby and also prepare to scout for compounds you might want to try moving and take control of later on down the line. So yeah, I think the Rad here were just already being really proactive, understood the compound and the terrain they're playing with, and are going to be taking that position under control. Though, talking about control, Trolling playing on a rooftop position, and he's going to have a team right nearby that's going to be Quarant 9, but not close enough to really take that fight.
And I know, you know, the side of Team Rage, they have a good following on Instagram and a good bit of support from the Pakistan community. When I put the post up about casting this event, a few people tagged actually Drawlin of Team Rage. So much love to you guys for participating in this event. I really love this 2-2 split across the road. It does pose a possible risk that if a full squad pushes in, they can get compounded as a duo. But the fact that they're playing on roofs show that there's that level of proactivity that, for example, 997H didn't do, right? That level of like, okay, we are looking actively for teams around us. We're getting into the 15-minute mark of the game. We're expecting it. So the mindset is there for how Rage are 2-2 split.
Yeah, I think especially what you mentioned, right, about the rooftop play makes sense when you're having a 2-2 split like this in Gatka Field. Reason why, you know if a team is coming your way, and typically, we say this many times, if a team is coming at you as a 4-man crew and you're 2-man because you're doing a 2-2 split, you want to regroup instantly. So because of them playing on a rooftop, they see a team coming nearby, they know they're going to get breached, boom, jump into the buggy, jump into your ass, jump in whatever vehicle you have, regroup with the rest of your team. You still have information while not taking the risk. And I think that is the most valuable part of the fight, though. Hell Warrior going to be having Hunt on the high ground position and having a fight this time in the game inside Hospital. We don't see that very often. Hospital is typically a very early stage team fighting opportunity, unless the circle it finishes on top of it. So this is a very intriguing fight between these two squads.
And it even felt like IUW's rotation was even a little bit desperate at this early stage of the game going into Hospital. It can be often quite hard to disengage away from this area. And yeah, okay, there's multiple windows which you can peek from to get shots off to your opponents, but it also means that there's a lot of windows where you can get picked off from teams in the mountain around you. And it's quite obvious that Hell Warriors are looking to isolate IUW even further inside the Hospital area. Terry gets inside the vehicle with Kahlua, looking to wrap around, constantly moving, stalking their prey. Might be looking to disengage now, or maybe they're trying to play for a bit of a bait. Have to wait and see what happens. But I really like that movement from Hell Warriors, taking shots, moving, taking shots, moving, just really unsettling their opponents, which plays into the psychology of the game and the psychology of the confidence teams are looking to have at this stage of the game.
I really like how Hell Warriors play that, because they had the intention, and it was very clear by how they were positioned around Hospital, that they were trying to lock in the entirety of IUW. But they understood, okay, this is edge of circle. This is not a great position to take a fight from, because they could stay there for a really long period of time, and they should have an insane amount of med because, you know, Hospital. And then they just understood, okay, this is not a fight. This is not a fight that's going to be going our way. It doesn't make sense, and we prefer to have a strong position inside the circle instead of taking the fight on the outskirts and giving a chance for other teams to snatch a good compound. So we're going to regroup, which is what they did. They went to the little hilltop over to the east of Hospital, then regroup and move out as a team, which that is the only and best way to move away from a potential fight. They did it like that, and it worked out great. So yeah, I really like how the Hell Warriors played that one. Not going for the hyper-aggressive playstyle, because especially with the circle right, it is so far away. That is a really good decision-making plan coming out from Hell Warriors. If they didn't make it, all the teams, like the teams that are just nearby them, they would be gate-kept the hell out of that circle.
Now, phase 3 popped up, Max. It went down south. So teams up and towards the north and northwestern side of the map are going to have to sweep in some way to the circle. Playing towards south rotation could be quite viable, but that is a push in towards Gaka, where Team 8 are going to have to hold on. Haluda going to get put under pressure by the Hell Warriors.
Yep, Copycode is getting himself a knock onto Joy. But they're going to go for full-on engage this time around. Imperium, that's going to be Haluda crew. And best to hold on to that compound. Lazar will get knocked down eventually. First knock for the side of Hell Warriors. That's a Molly. That's Aegon. He's going to be taking some really big tick damage, and he's knocked out of commission. This fight's got to go even further, but unfortunately, very, very spread for the entirety of Haluda crew, making it really hard to go for those reses on their fallen teammates. But they have so many off angles, making it a lot harder and a lot slower for Hell Warriors to actually make that push work out in the first place. So there's positive and negatives on both sides. But right now, it does seem like Hell Warriors are taking a little bit of a better toll onto the entirety of Haluda crew.
And I'm aware that Gaka is a tricky place to fight, because none of the buildings on one side of the compound are second floor buildings, or they're single floor buildings, which kind of, you know, stops or slows down, or at least doesn't really promote a flank position. So you see both teams have, you know, a line of players, so there's no real vision being laid out. So it means that most engagements tend to be kind of quite, you know, in your face, so to speak, but it tends to take a bit of time to get to that point. But Terry now goes into a position where his teammate was confirmed up. Marco PG has to try and heal up. I believe that's a potential third party as Hunt finds one.
Yeah, it seemed like they're disrupted in their own tracks, and now that's going to be creating an opportunity for the Hell Hunters to go for the engage. That's a double knock, a double whammy for them. And they are clearing out this entire compound. There's still one player that I believe is sneaking over to the western side of this compound. He's got to move away. Got to be very careful. Hopefully he does not get detected. But this is something that Hell Hunters should be very aware of, Imperium, because... the Hell Warriors, because they know these are only knocks. And Sky gets into the buggy, gets the hell out of this one because he does not want to take that risk.
Hey, look, it may not have been ideal coming out from Haluda crew, but at least he's been able to survive, and Sky is going to have to find a limit to try and survive into the later stages of this game. 20 minutes in, thank you very much. One thing that I only observed is that both teams have the word hell inside, Hell Warriors and Haluda crew, so all hell broke loose between the two teams, and Hell Warriors came out on top. Unfortunately, Xiaomi Esports France, the Beckett's not working in their favor this time as they do lose a player.
Yeah, an unfortunate round of event. We're going to be seeing Jarlin able to pick himself up a kill arena in that one, so really good long distance fights coming out from Rage. And still in a 2-2 split. No biggie, no issues with that whatsoever. I'm liking how they're playing this position, though. We're going to have some big engages happening, especially on top of Xiaomi Esports France. The French team is going to get pushed up on. And this time is going to be by Exit Gaming. First time we're going to be seeing these guys actually taking a fight. That was a good nade, having to be pushed and pushed out. Tokyo is going to be the first one to get knocked out. And now TGB will be up as Skidu will try his best to make this go to the next level, but he's going to get completely overwhelmed and surrounded by foes. And Exit Gaming seem like they're going to be shown the exit to the side of the French crew of the Xiaomi Esports France. He's just staying prone. He's got 30 bandages. I don't know why he would have that many, but he's not using them. And he technically should. But he's going to be hoping to not get detected. He gets information on Pakani, gets out, goes for the spray above the grass, does not connect anything. And now the attention is on top of Skidu. One bullet is all they need, and they connect it. 4 kills going to well of Exit, as that's going to be the end for the French team.
Our Revolve, my French maestros, got called out. A little bit of a cheeky third-party knock initially, and then X-Crew came in to seal the deal, but they're not done yet, right? They're firing shots across the way as Quart 9, they played in towards the Chopsticks area. They've been there since, I believe, phase 2, and now they're surrounded by, what, 3 teams around them, and this is where it becomes difficult to deal with. I don't like them being stuck there. What, 3-4 grenades, and Quart 9 are going to find themselves in a hell of a lot worse situation.
I'm not gonna lie, I think they don't like it either. Just a quick idea. Nope. I think this is not fun for anybody involved. Though we currently have a decent position from some of the teams, especially Team IUW. They got a 2-2 split so far. Got to be careful, because if you do see a push coming out from the likes of Quart 9, that could play big-time spoilers. That looks like a good nade. A little bit too far away from Solly, but you had the good idea. They know they're getting pressured from that position. And also, since we went into Wrangle 2.0, you can actually play in the underline section, which means nade could be a lot less effective if you play in those spots. So it's a lot harder to push you out of chopsticks.
The one thing is that Quart 9 could actually stay quiet and allow IUW and Team Rage to essentially go at each other, and Quart 9 could third party this, right? So that is something that they can use that underground area inside the Chopsticks gutter to their advantage, but it's going to be easier said than done, because anybody that is exposed will hit the floor, plus IUW have their own troubles behind them as well. It's starting to heat up as we get into the 24-minute mark.
Yeah, things are going to start to get a little bit more spicy. Seem like the fight is not going to go any further between the likes of Rage and Quart 9, even though I think it will eventually, depending on where the circle tends to go. If we have a chopstick finish for the very first game, that would be really fun. We don't see it too often, but when it does end up over this position, it's a really fun, and mainly down to who still has utility remaining to get and create an advantage point, and typically the win that still has utility tends to win a lot of the time. So Exit Gaming lost one player. They sent him in forward as a scout into chopsticks, so they're going to be up now as the 3-man crew. And they do find themselves a decent position, knowing that if they go any deeper in this kind of environment, is going to be hindering them heavily when it comes to securing himself potentially the win for this very first game. Some nade. Okay, smoke. Not really the main area you wanted to chuck it into, but at least it does get a little bit of information potentially denied away from the team of Quart 9.
Man, that circle shift is not good for all of the teams in Chopsticks. Now, Rage should have a player knocked down, but he was revived. That Quart 9 have moved out from the underground area, and they're walking into hell as Rage, Drawlin, unfortunately can't stand up. into the ground area to get those shots off, which opens the opportunity for Quart9 to disengage away without suffering any casualties for the time being.
And they're gonna hell out of this one. This is not worthwhile. IUW, see that rotation happen from afar. Trying to play a little bit spoilers onto Quart9. I believe they did get himself one knock, so it will be a little bit harder for them to play from. There you go. That's the knock that I think was going to come out eventually.
Nice.
And they will confirm that one very swiftly. Luckily enough, their building is still in the circle, but when they're going to have to move away, they've got to go uphill and also cross the road. They should start thinking of the setup for the future because this is not a game-winning position.
Yeah, sending one player up the hill to be some kind of anchor point / angle of information would definitely help. Rad, though, on towards the south side, they can control this late stage of the game given the opportunity. You have Quart9 trying to get the revives off. They will be able to pull that off, at least onto one of them. Zen is still bleeding out. He's looking to get revived, I believe, by Camilo Sec. But in the meantime, we do have Exit Gaming putting him under a decent bit of pressure.
Camilo Sec. There you go. First try. Ooh, got it. Got it. Always seeing that things move out. Rage. Hey, cheers. Thank you. Appreciate it. Rage have yet to really move out of chopsticks, and I think that the more you delay it, the harder it's going to be, especially when you still have IW in that compound. You've got to be careful how you approach it. Though, it seems like Sky is slowly, as you said, Imperium, going to find his limit. He's going to be eking his way forward into the circle, hoping to not get detected. But Rad, they could not hope for a better circle shift. This is great. They got the high ground spot. They already had time to set themselves up with some cars and vehicles to try and make their own makeshift compound with a car fort. That nade was way too close for comfort for Sushi. But this next circle is going to be the big deciding factor as to which teams will be favored to potentially secure themselves the first win.
Camilo Sec has been confirmed up. Zen is knocked down. It's not looking good for the Polish team. Quart9. It's also IUW that are keeping them under pressure. Rage have moved into the circle and they are looking to take over not just Quart9, but even Exit Gaming.
Yeah, Exit Gaming going to have to take that engage down to now 3 players, but it doesn't really matter too much as they're up to 7 kills. That is great to secure yourself a top position at the end and be in the runnings for the next 2 games on Sanok and Miramar alike. The Rage, this is it. That's the push. They avoided that spot that was controlled very heavily by IEW. That's what I was skeptical about. That's what I was scared of for them. They made the hardest work out. Now they're potentially having a chance to get into the circle, so they're looking pretty golden. Though one team is not going to be looking golden. Actually, they're going to look pretty dead, Imperium. That's Quart9. They're going to be out of the lobby, eliminated in 7th position, and an extra 2 kills to the name of Exit. These guys are popping off right off the bat.
They are. 9 kills so far, looking good. Rage maybe haven't been as aggressive coming into the circle as I thought was going to be the case. I really feel they could have punished Exit Gaming, who are focused on Quart9. But in the end, maybe they're just playing for that late stages of the game. But IUW did now finally send 1 player into that circle, into the anchor point. But not before Exit Gaming have 2 knockdowns straight away, faster and drawing down on their knees. Rage not looking in the best situation.
They are getting decimated. Down now to 2 players. Hopefully can get the res on another to get back as a 3-man crew. Utility's going to be there, but you got to check behind you. You're getting pushed up by a player from IUW. That's going to be solid, trying to ruin your opportunity to make into the circle. They're going to be sending Knight forward, trying to make it a little bit of a makeshift compound with that buggy, with that car. And buy them a little bit more precious time. I hear Molly coming on through. Not sure if it connected. I don't think it did. But you got to start thinking of moving into the circle itself, as they are going to go and run for it. But Solly is still on that off angle, making this rotation even harder for the side of IEW. And also, they're going to try and make that work out. Rage, they're going to have a real hard time. The Knight is already there as an anchor point inside the circle. But even up north, you have yourself Exit Gaming. How do you make this rotation work out? This is so hard on this team, as Solly is finally there. He's going to be joining the party. Everyone is getting decimated on their side, as now only 1 player's up and ready to go for Rage. Will that be enough to secure himself a top position on the podium?
Feels bad, man. Feels bad, man. But still sole survivor. See what he did there from Team Rage. Should be able to at least give them something coming into a Exit Gaming. 13 kills. Incredible. But Kenny is knocked down. It's all about the chicken dinner, though, as we are left with our final 3 teams.
Oh man, the amount of control from IUW is just out of this world. Despite Exit getting so many kills, it doesn't really matter too much. They are just shredding the competition when it comes to taking control of the circle, allowing no breathing space to be made for the teams around them. Knight, luckily enough, was able to survive just a tad longer to secure a top 3 podium. That's a lot of points coming their way. 10 to be exact. With that 1 kill, though, that's going to be 11 so far. Let's see if he can try and push it to the next level. There's some knocks are coming on through. And Exit, they could maybe make things work out, but they're all on top of each other. One nade or some really good sprays, and that's the team gone as Knight gets spotted away by Exit. And that's going to be a top 2 secure minimum between these 2 remaining teams of IUW and also Exit Gaming.
Great awareness from Exit Gaming, being put under pressure by IUW, but still having the whereabouts to spot that player prone down on the ground, take those shots, secure another kill for them. But we're left with our final 2 teams. IUW do have more control. They're inside the circle, but Sully, he's low in health, and that could give the opportunity for Exit Gaming to move in, but not quite.
Yeah, it's going to be down to now Bennett. He's going to try and make this real Bennett for himself as his 2 teammates now get knocked away. He is solo, but luckily enough was able to decimate a lot of the players. Hit 1 bullet, but at the end it will not be enough in Pyram as IUW took way too much control, and that will reward them with the very first win here of the Sole Survivor event.
Yeah, but look at this. Man, second place, Exit Gaming
Those
with
kills.
14 kills. 9 for 1 player alone. Absolutely fantastic. That's why I put like a little bit more weight on the kills in these 3 games. It will really pay off for Exit Gaming. Credit to IUW holding on to that compound that was on the northern edge of the circle, waiting to move in, then sending out 1 player forward. It was very strong stuff for them. Were they helped by the fact that Exit Gaming were doing all the work on towards that kind of southeast side? Yeah, but at the end of the day, they played that late game extremely well.
Man, Solly just ruined everything for Rage. The fact that they sent him forward, especially solo onto the northern eastern side of that late game circle, was really well played, and it did ruin a lot of chance. But there was even a fight that we did not see, and I was paying very close attention to the minimap as to what was happening. And IUW split their forces, and they sent 2 players right on that we said it right, was the most favored team because of that circle shift.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do anything. They're allowed to get closed upon in terms of distance by IUW. They got completely decimated.
Exactly.
And the moment that they knew that they controlled the north, controlled the west, controlled also the south, they pushed in, they controlled, they had the information on where the last player of Rage and also where Exit Gaming was standing. So they knew that that was a game in the bag. It got close at the very end. Bennett almost could have made it worked out, but unfortunately, he was not the Bennett player at the end. The real Bennett players were coming out from IUW.
Yeah, I'm so glad you pointed out about Rad, because I was very surprised when I noticed that they got taken out. It was past the point where, you know, so many other teams were popping off, it wasn't worth mentioning at the time. But considering they were the first team down on towards that south side when it popped away from Chopsticks, to me, there was no way that they shouldn't have controlled some parts of it. Would they been able to have gotten the better of Exit Gaming based on how Exit Gaming performed? No. But when you're talking about at least doing something, grabbing a kill here, grabbing a kill there, suppressing and isolating a team like IUW, that should have been possible for Rad. I'm a bit disappointed. And for Rage, I like the fact that they left it late to move away from Chopsticks, right? Because it meant they avoided a lot of the initial, you know, flurry of movement from the teams around them. But when they did decide to move in, they should have recognized that because it was later, the teams that survived would have been a little bit more settled. So you had to have been in a position to knock them off their perch straight away. And they didn't really do that. They kind of half done it. And then again, Exit Gaming laid it on, and they just really couldn't hold out for too much longer.
I especially want to touch upon was what you just said about Rage and how they moved late away from Chopsticks. The reason why it was also so well played, because they were waiting for teams to do the exact same rotation they were going to do to see how that would potentially work out. And that was the tested team was the team from Poland, Quarant 9. They pushed forward. They got completely backed up by IW from the compound. I think they were down to 2 players at that moment when they tried to survive that encounter. And they understood, okay, that rotation's not going to work out. We're going to go a little bit wider, enter from the eastern side, and like that, we make sure we're not going to get shot from by the likes of IW or even other teams in the circle like Exit Gaming. So the fact that they looked as some other teams, what they were pulling off, and if it worked or not, was a great execution. And then they just executed the best rotation in that circle to make it work out and secure a top 3 at the end.
Definitely. Hey, well, look, you know, we're having a look at these highlights, to be fair, all on a Redmi device, if I do say so myself. Absolutely fantastic overlay. But this is where it all started for the what I feel is like the thick of the action when that Gaka fight played out, and it started from there. Rage were under pressure, but man, like, I really feel like they should have done a lot better when it came to controlling their position in the late stages of those circles.
Yeah, they should have been in IEW's spot a lot quicker, and they should not have allowed IEW to get a lot closer. Yeah. So we're hoping to see Rad do better. It's still decent positioning points. You know, it's nothing scary. It's not going to put them out of the running for the top 3. Yeah. But we just need to see hopefully a little bit more coming into this one. So we'll see. We've got still so many games coming up. Well, so many. We've got 2 to be exact with the numbers. We're going to have 1 Miramar and also 1 Sanhok. Erangel is the map that very clearly, and we know this, Imperium, all the teams and the players, they know the most. This is the map that started it all. Definitely. And so they know this map really well, like the back of their pocket. And now we're looking on these other maps. Even though Rad did not do great, I think Miramar, if they pull off good rotations like this, they could do great. But we want to see a little bit more proactiveness and seeing them be a little bit more controlling, as now we're going to have a quick look at the overall rankings to see where teams are going to be. And Imperium, you said it, and rightly so, you hit the nail on the head. Those kills were so important for Exit Gaming, allowing them to be ahead of IUW that got the win with a total of 26 points coming their way.
Man, absolutely spot on. IUW, to be fair, with that chicken dinner, 21 points. And just observe that cushion now with the top 2 compared to third place. 10 points alone, and you've only got 2 more games left. Few opportunities to catch up with the top 2, and with 3 teams on the same amount of points, it does make it very spicy for that third place spot, right? Because there's prizes for the top 3, so there's every opportunity for Team Rage, Rad, and of course Hell Warriors to hold on or take over that third place spot, maybe even second or first, depending on the next game. And Haluda crew, it may only look like 7 points, but that's still only 4 behind Rage, Rad, and Hell Warriors.
Yeah. One clear thing is if you're in 8th or above, one good game and you're back in it. You're close to Exit Gaming, you're close to IEW or even the Hell Warriors, you could get some prizes. But now we're looking at the bottom side of the standings, looking at BNL, Me Killers, or the 997H. That's where things start to get a little bit dicey, because once again, if you guys did just join the broadcast and not too sure what's happening, we only have 3 games happening, and then it's the end. We got our top 3 and we're done so. So you cannot afford to have a third of your potential points just going down the drain instantly. That is 1 point you got because you only got 1 positioning point. You cannot get 0. And if we could, that would be a big fat bubble, big 0 coming their way. So next 2 games, they need to not only have decent games, they need to have really, really good games. Otherwise, I'm going to have to count them out of the race already. It's so weird to say it, right? We had 1 game, you're done. You're finished.
I know. And, man, like, you know, if Me Killers have another bad game, they might want to change their name to Me Killed. Anyway, so I had to pull that joke. I had it in my pocket. For a while.
Thank you, Imperium. Thank you for sharing that. We appreciate it over here. Thank you so much. But you also got to keep in mind that this event is brought to you by the Redmi Note 10 5G, or if you're in Russia, it's the Redmi Note 10T. And this device has got so many specs coming to it that makes your gaming experience even better. One of those being the 5G high-performance processor to support all of your speed needs at home. Sporting the powerful MediaTek Dimensity 700 5G chipset, the Redmi Note 10 5G is ready to challenge the boundaries of gaming performance. Its 7nm processing technology and integrated modem offer high performance with lower power consumption, so users can enjoy prolonged use of their device without worrying about power drain. With support for the 5G dual SIM, the Redmi Note 10 5G is a productivity beast, which means the IUW are productive beast. They're using the device for sure.
Exactly, featuring a 6.5-inch FHD Plus dot display with 90Hz refresh rate, which is very important for gaming. The Redmi Note 10 5G offers a beautiful display with smooth usage, but beyond the 90Hz as well, Max, the phone is capable of adjusting automatically to content, whether you're streaming at 30 hertz, scrolling through social media at 60 hertz, or doing the all-important gaming at 90 hertz. So it guarantees a smooth experience and optimum battery usage.
And again, if you want to watch your stream, then anyone start playing after watching a tutorial, that's going to be the device for you. That's just on the fly like you need. Also, got to keep in mind, and really want to pay attention because maybe we've got a question on this later. I don't know, just saying. You maybe want to pay very attention to what I'm about to say because this device has also some great camera quality to step up your selfie game. Boasting a 48 megapixel triple rear camera, the Redmi Note 10 5G was made to create. Its triple camera setup includes a 48 megapixel main camera, a 2 megapixel macro camera, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor, while its creativity tools such as night mode, slow motion, or even time-lapse video, turning any user in a creative professional, which means, Imperium, you can indeed become a creative professional as you always wanted.
Can I?
Wow.
Oh my god, I can't wait. And you know what, to deal with all that creative professionalism and all that gaming, it does have, it touts a massive 5,000 mAh battery with 18 watt fast charging, so users, of course, can stay powered up throughout the day and even during periods of heavy usage. So man, that I still can't get over that battery size. It's a monster. And you know, I know when I've had devices that can barely go a day without needing to be charged, I can hand on heart say that 5,000 mAh should be easily get a day and a half, if not 2 days, before you need to charge up.
And normally when you're talking about battery size on PUBG Mobile, you say how many games could you play until the battery runs out, right?
Fair.
The cool thing for me and you, Imperium, is because we die so quickly, we could do an infinite amount of games. Because we die so quickly, we're just in a game for like 30 seconds and we can keep on gaming. When you think about it, we got the biggest potential game per battery charge. We're pretty insane. But with that said, now as you said, you've got to pay very close attention because we've got some giveaways coming your way. And how do you win the giveaway? Well, very, very easy answer to that is to find the answer to this question. And the first question for this is going to be, what chip does the Redmi Note 10 5G, or if you're in Russia, what is the Redmi Note 10T chip? And what does it have? Where's the chip? That's what we're trying to say right now. And if you do reply correctly in the YouTube section down below, you could win yourself a Mi Air 2S. There are 3 to win. So first answer, first served. And you got to get it right. Once again, the question is, what chip does the Redmi Note 10 5G have? We need to know. Give us the exact full name. And if you do win, you will be hit up by some Xiaomi officials. So make sure to also check your inbox. You don't want to miss it out. Otherwise, it's a free pair of Mi Air 2S gone down the drain, and nobody wants that.
Gotta be quick on the pulse for this one. We've given the answers throughout talking about the fantastic device. So now, if you've been listening, you can be rewarded for that. It is on the YouTube chat only, so you have to head over to the Xiaomi YouTube channel if you're not already there. Go into a chat, answer the question, and you could be in with a chance to win. Like, I love cool little giveaways like this. I think it's awesome because it makes people more excited about it. Plus, who doesn't want free stuff, Max? Everything is better when it's free. Fact. Everything is better when it's free.
Hey, all I'm going to say, free is pretty cheap. It's pretty good. You want to give it a shot. So you got to stay online. So once again, feel free to answer that question. I believe on YouTube you can even rewind back a little bit if you want to listen again to the call out. So you want to make sure you can actually track everything down. But there you go, the Imperium. That is it for our very first game. And now we're going to go towards Miramar. Do you have any expectations before going into it?
I'm expecting it to be a slower early game, but it will also allow teams to maybe play a little bit more of a controlling position and feel confident moving into the mid-late stages of the game. Either way, Exit, I'm looking out for you. Can you stand up and grab just as many kills?
Hey, Exit, man, they get kills like that on the first game on their angle. I can't wait to see them on Sanok. But I do believe production told us that we're ready to go for a break. So we are going to be going for a very short break, just about 5 minutes. So stick around for that because you've got even more games and especially even more stuff to give away later on if you answer the questions. So you better stick around for that.
Urbana kultura je kao druga kuća ljudima koji se osjećaju drugačije. Breakdance je ekstreman ples koji dolazi iz urbane kulture. Break je jako poseban meni zato što je oformio moj personalitet. Pre sam bio jako tih i povučen. Ovaj ples mi je otvorio vrata zato što sam sada mnogo direktniji i slobodniji. Break je ekstreman ples koji te tera da prelaziš svoje granice zato što iz tebe izlači neku ekstremnu snagu. To znači da se zaista možete povrediti. Poprilično i zato ekstreman. Bio sam povređen. Imao sam povredu kolena. Ta povreda me jako uplašila zato što kada se desila, mislio sam da nikada opet neću moći da plešem. Prevazišao sam povredu s pomoć mojeg drugara koji nikada nisu odustali od mene, čak ni kada sam pauzirao sa treningom.
Thank you so much for waiting, ladies and gentlemen. One game already in the bag here for the Xiaomi fans. PUBG Mobile battle game Soul Survivor. Well, we call it Soul Survivor, but we had 4 survivors that last game. But it's fine. We won't go into too much details.
Fair.
Imperium, we were watching the chat, and people were spamming the right answer. I gotta say, GG, you guys pay very good attention, way better than me in high school. So for that, you get a brownie point. GG.
Wait, I didn't know the answer.
Didn't know the answer? Well, did you try? Did you try? You were not paying attention, Imperium. We even said it together.
No,
how could? Guys, if anyone's interested in joining me as a caster,
I was terrible at school, man. I was terrible at school. Cool, thanks,
I can tell.
Man.
Sorry, well, that was mean. I'm so sorry, Infernal. That's okay. Oh man, we're talking about mean. That was a mean finish happening on that first game. Yeah, just like if you getting bullied, just like me was Jason on the desk also. But IEW, congratulations to them taking himself the first win. But man, Exit Gaming, and you brought it up, and I'm gonna bring it up again. So many kills, and I do really think the kills are going to be the decisive factor in this event when there's only 3 games. Yeah. If they frag it out on Miramar, and hopefully they can do a very similar kind of fashion playstyle on Sanhok 2, there might just be one purely based on kills alone, which would be insanely good to see and gratifying for them, because they are being the most oppressive team, the most aggressive and controlling team, and that rewards you with really big points, and they made it work out that game desperately at the very end.
Yeah, look, whether it's a 3-game format or a 30-game format, one thing that always remains the same, I feel, is that it comes down to that point, right? It can always come down to that final point. Every single point counts, right? Whether it's between first and second, third or fourth, or if there's more prizes to be won, it nearly always comes down to that point. So that's why, at least in this format with only 3 games, I tended to highlight on the kills, because I think it's going to be the difference maker. But at the end of the day, it's still going to come down to that point. If you have that 10-15 point cushion to first or second, or second or third, etc., yes, that's great for the final game, because it relieves the pressure, it relieves the stress that you're under in that final game in Sanhok, I might add. So that's why I feel like this second game is far more important than the first and the third game, right? It is way more important. So Exit Game, you've had a good start, but you need to keep it up. IUW, you've tasted the chicken dinner, we'll take that, and bulk yourself up with the Xiaomi device and play it into the second game. So, you know, those are the 2 teams I'm looking out for. Plus Rad, I need you guys to step up your game.
Yeah, for AEW is like going to the supermarket, get a sample of that chicken, like, okay, I want another one of those. I'll take the entire piece. Thank you. We're going to see if they can make it work out. Imagine if you get 2 wins out of 3 games in this event, you're just making a statement that we are the best team in this lobby by far. But that's not going to be easy because Miramar is a little bit of a different beast when it comes to the likes of Erangel. And I talked about this before the break, and I'm going to mention it again because I think it's very interesting. When it comes down to pure rotation, not about how you control the circle, not about how you frag out and go aggressively with teams, I think Rad had a really strong showing. They entered into the circle in a really good way. They had the best position into the late game circle. There was a lot of circle luck involved, don't get me wrong, but together in the first place, it's definitely there's definitely a strategy in mind, and it worked out good. Yeah. And Miramar, I would say even more compared to Erangel, is about rotating and how you position yourself and sprinkle yourself around the map. I think Rad, if they understand what went wrong on that first game, work on that, but keep the strong rotation basis that they have from the game 1 into the second game on Miramar, I think they could make a top 3 and potentially even get the game, but they need to go aggressive to finish off those games.
Yeah, it's a really good point you bring up. Rad's early game was incredibly well, and their ability to scout information from Pachiki Hill, as an example, allowed them to sweep in and rotate quite comfortably. But I'll always say this, there comes a point in that game, there's that threshold, that line, where you go from strategical to controlling, right? IUW, controlling, right? Exit game, controlling, although a little bit heavier handed, but still controlling. Rad, great sweeping motion, great strategy, but where was the control? It was lacking, and they need to recognize that in this game to Miramar. There's no point in having the information if you don't use it to your advantage. Even then, there are going to be situations where you don't really have the information, but you've got to make a decision and commit to it as a team. Exit game, again, just because it's so hard not to talk about them, they committed. And hell, even Team Rage, they somewhat committed to their rotation. It may not have been the right distance, the right call, but at least they committed to it. Where what was Rad do? They weren't really committing to anything, right? So, yeah, it's something that Rad could definitely do better stepping into the Miramar in game 2.
We're talking about a lot of things that we're hoping to see getting improved on, and hopefully teams will be able to do so. We had a lot of teams that we saw went out really early, especially 997H. We want to see a lot more from the Russian representative. This is the only Russian team in this event, actually, so we want to see them potentially go aggressive in the good old Russian fashion in PUBG Mobile. That's how things normally work out in the CIS region. Once again, we're talking about the game, but you do have to keep in mind, I'm just gonna recap and give that information out there once more. There's more things to give away. So stick around for the later giveaways. We've got 2 more questions that are going to be sprinkled out throughout the broadcast, one after this game and one at the very end. So you better stick around for those, because those are especially the next question. I'm not going to say what it is just yet, but the next question is pretty banger prize. So you definitely want to get that one right and also be the first one to reply. Otherwise, it's gone. It's donezo.
It's gone. It's donezo. Well, what isn't donezo is this game 2, because we're just starting. The playing path is rocking up on the north, Max, and of course that's going to make it quite challenging for teams that want to drop in the south, maybe look for vehicles early on. But this is also quite important, because recognizing where the playing path is outside of teams' normal drop spots will always have an impact on how teams sweep in to the circle, right? So if that circle is on the south, recognizing that way more space on that south side, happy days. If it complements the playing path, still recognizing the southern edge of the circle is going to be pretty easy to hold on to. If it's a northern phase 1, not only is that going to be painful because it's most likely going to capture an oasis, but it is going to make things a little bit harder to at least deal with earlier on in the game. So that playing path has a much bigger part of the flow of game than teams might think.
Yeah, it might make it a little bit harder to sail around the map. So let's see how things are going to be working out. IW already dropping on down here. And Soli, we talked about him last game, right? He was definitely one of the seeker of opportunities, I would say, for his team. He was the one that pushed. He made sure that Rage could not be able to actually be that strong of a force entering the late game stage. So I think Soli, I don't know for you, you tell me if you agree or not. if we talk about a one-game MVP, Solly would be that, for me at least, in that first game. I think he created the most opportunities for his team that they seized in time. So big is up for Solly, and I can't wait to see if he can try to replicate something somewhat similar in the next 2 games to come.
Yeah, I don't know exactly who's the IGL of the team, to be fair. If it is Solly, then it makes sense because it felt like he was the instigator without overextending. And that's something that teams have also, and players specifically, have got to be aware of, is that you can instigate something, but if you are going too deep with it on your own, or your team isn't following suit for whatever reasons, you are going to get massively caught out. You are going to be potential reason why your team gets wiped out because you've disconnected in the wrong way. So Solly, you hit the nail on the head. He was definitely the standout player for IUW in that game 1. Let's see if he can repeat it in this game 2.
We'll see, but as we said, because you have so little amount of teams compared to a normal professional lobby, we only got 12 teams compared to 16. Things are going to be, 11 teams compared to 16. Things are going to be very slow at the early stage. But I got a question for you, Imperium, because we recently had the update 1.5 very recently. And one thing that changed actually was it added windows, right? And I wanted to ask you, because for me, it has not impacted my gameplay at all. Has it impacted your gameplay in any way? Because I do not feel it. It's like they were not there.
It probably won't in a more casual basis, but it will in a more heavily competitive basis. And especially over time as it becomes more of a factor and more of an indicator. I'm used to it from playing the PC version, which has those. And you break the glass, it makes noise, right? So if you're trying to stay somewhat passive in the game and you break glass, that is a really big audio indicator to the opponents that you're around that area, right? It's not much, but it is going to have an impact. Plus, the glass, of course, because all the maps are kind of in some way torn and beaten down, they do impair vision a bit. So you kind of nearly have to break the glass to get the optimum vision in terms of distance around you.
Nice shots with the mini forward team trying to move away. Going to the AKM one tap with the iron sight. Not going to be making too much. A little bit scary for Ski-Doo and his teammate. But okay, well.
Wow.
A little bit too scary. Apparently, Copia Cole is going to be able to get knocked out while Ski-Doo just got completely blown up to pieces. Hopefully Golden and Haku can join up, but when you're in a position like this and you see the kill feed light up, Rad could think, okay, we want to push this and we want to go for the kills, but it seemed like they are more on a restrictive kind of notice and they're going to take this a little bit slower. But back to the point about the glass, I agree, and that's what I wanted to say. It hasn't impacted my game. It's been a more competitive sense. That audio cue, especially if you're playing with Molotovs or grenades, you know from what position they're entering from and you can use the utility accordingly. It works good. Though Rad, I thought they were going to play passive, but no, they are pushing. They want those kills.
You can also use it to observe if a team has been in that compound. So even if a team has closed all the doors, but the glass is broken on the windows, there you go. You know a team might be there or has been there. So, that there's many small elements to that glass breaking, which will come into a more competitive play. Plus with the update, the UMP has very heavily come back into the meta. The fire rate got adjusted. It's much more improved. I still believe the Thompson is overall a better gun to utilize than the UMP simply because of the fact that with an extended mag, you have 50 bullets with the Thompson. However, what the UMP provides above the Thompson is the fact that you can put 2, 3, 4, 6x on that gun, so it might be a little bit more ideal for a more mid-range engagement with the UMP compared to the Thompson.
Yeah, man, the fact that he's got even better. The Chinese meta, for you guys that may be a little bit unaware, in China, in the PC, the PL, that is the super meta gun. M4 M4 just got a little bit better because of this recent update. It's an even more powerful weapon, but the UMP getting buffed up. You know that if you're going to be having events with Chinese teams, they are going to be wrecking the good old M4 UMP45 kind of loadout. It's very typical. It works great. But especially, as I said, with those scopes, you can have a little bit of a middling range kind of playstyle with the UMP. The IUW, they're not going to be playing the middling game at all. They're pushing teams way far out of reach. They're trying to move out. Better be careful here. It's going to be Hell Warriors getting into the buggy, getting away from that position, not willing to take that fight. Taking a little bit of damage, but you know there's not going to be really resulting in too much. So nice job coming up from Golden Boy, making sure that no team is going to be trying to neighbor in that position.
Be careful. Don't take too much damage yourself, Golden Boy. Don't want that armor or helmet to be chunked down too early in this game. We're still only 7.5 minutes into this one, to be fair. So to see teams poke shots at each other, I think is quite good, because not only does it say to me that despite there being a lower amount of teams in the lobby, they are, mentally prepared to find teams to fight, etc. But of course, it's more entertaining for you, me, and the viewers to see those teams poking shots at each other. And one thing that I wanted to point out is it was good to see Rad be a bit more aggressive, a bit more controlling in the early parts of this game compared to last game, where we basically may have complimented them, but we saw nothing in terms of aggression shooting from them. So definitely having a much better start to this game in that regard.
It's like when you're in the Roman dynasty and you just like, are you not entertained? You just throw people against lions. Like, we want blood, we want action, give it to us right now. Are they going to give it to us? Perfect. Perfect timing, Imperium. IUW, we going for the engage against something not shot. They're being very aware of their surrounding. That is great oppression from AP Crino? Apcrino. Ooh, that's a tongue twister right there. I'm having a hard time with that. Apcrino. I got it. Thank you very much, Imperium, for teaching me how to speak English properly. Appreciate that one. But Apcrino being very aware of his surroundings, heard the information with that car given to him over to the west, and instantly took the shots. That is great. And now that they create themselves a huge potential advantage, they're going to be crossing over that road instantly. They're closing that gap. IUW are looking so clean in today's games, as now they're looking to take that engage in a potential 4v3. They go for the res. That's a great nade coming out from the other side, but a little bit harder to deal with, and Camper is instantly going to be trying to clear out the entirety of Hell Warriors as they just lose an extra 2 players. IUW are looking flawless in these games, as Terry will be left alive as a one-man, and he should try and leave this one if he can, but they got the information. They know exactly where he is. There is no escape for you, Terry. You have to take this 1v4.
Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. IUW are hunting them down, and they're looking for the shot. Solly in towards the window, around the building he's going to go. Nice molly being played out. The knock does come through, but at the end of the day, the body advantage pays off, and IUW start as a means to go on in this game to 4 kills already.
That was such a good molly. I just really have to express how good that Molotov was from IUW. He was pinned down, Telly, behind that wall. There was no way to move away from that spot. And you just want to force him out at that point. If you are IUW, they take the molly, check it out. It covers all the entirety of the backside of that building. And he has to leave. He just has to. And because they just already wrapped around in an amazingly well done 2-2 split, you know you're going to get mowed down, because there's no way you can do a 360 coverage with just 2 weapons. That is not going to be enough ammo unless you have an M249. And even then, it could be somewhat tricky to keep up with the information game. So yeah, really good execution. IUW already up to 4 kills. And it's Miramar. You get kills this early, you're looking golden when it comes to getting good points in this game.
I've got so much I actually want to break down with that fight, but we are seeing a little bit more action on board Rage during the kill feed. We are currently on 997H that has Xiaomi Sports France in front of them, but it's the last 2 players of the French side. I don't know how aware they are of it, as Quarter 9 on top of the hill, which is in the center of this phase 1, being put under pressure. Sushi is down to a low amount of health. I think it's Rage that was shooting at them, but nothing really secured, and Drolin was taken out, unfortunately. So left with 3 players means they have to be cautious, yet still ever more controlling from this point forward in the game, Max.
Rage know the hassle of going up that mountain. If you want to go up that mountain, you need a car. If you want to go down quickly and efficiently, you need also the car to avoid taking to avoid taking full damage. the fact that Rage are taking that down, they are somewhat locking Quarant 9 on top of that hill, making it really hard to actually move down. So they are really aware that you need that car to make it downhill. So I think the Rage are being really aware of how they want to play this game. They want to pin that team on that position and somewhat keep information on what's going to be happening for Quarant 9. So I like it. I think the Rage were definitely playing to their strengths to try and hinder the chances of Quarant 9 moving forward.
Yeah, you're dead right. Quarant 9, the fact that they've been able to get on top of this mountain and still hold on as a full squad will bear very well for them going forward. Phase 2 has popped up.
Oh, no. Oh.
Let's see where it's gone. Of course, Sushi, don't fall down the mountain too quickly. You don't want to lose your life. That would be a massive F in the chat if that was to happen. There you go. That's why I want to see proactive shooting from Sushi on top of the mountain, because you can't let your opponents get too close to you. In my eyes, you have to push them back, create that space so that when you do, or should you have to disengage away from the mountain, you have more space around you.
Yeah, I think Quarant 9 are playing the game of floor is lava right now. They're trying to get as high up as possible for all the lava gets to them. But fortunately, the game is stand to the circle, and the circle, I do believe, ended up on top of them. We'll have to see later on, but they got to try and be very aware of what their game plan is going to be, as a lot of teams are just going to be moving around them. But because the distance is so big, this is not a position from which you can very easily take fights. It's more, we get information, and then we rotate. Because you're pinned on this position, you're just getting information, and you can't do anything about it. So I would say the earlier the better. If I were them, I would start moving away. Unless you're dead center circle, which could be the case, but I don't think they are.
And I like that from Rage as well. They've clearly reacted to that circle shift, and yeah, okay, Quarant 9 are taking a couple of shots at them, but it's clearly not in a position where even if Quarant 9 were to get another knock onto one of the Rage players, most likely it wouldn't be confirmed. So I think that comfortability of the early part of the phase 2 popping up makes sense for Rage to move away, and they could even then get a return engagement onto Quarant 9 if Quarant 9 leave it too late to move into either this circle or future circles. So there you go. You can see that coming on through. Rage moving into Monte Nuevo, which is a little bit tricky in itself. Opposers and play in the Southern Hills down south are an important factor for this one. And IUW, great forward thinking movement from them, going onto that compound just a little bit to the west of Power Grid, gives information to the mountain across the way and the kind of roadside outside Monte Nuevo.
That works great. I love the position of Exit Gaming, though. Like, over to the eastern side of El Pozo itself is really good because you're not... And you and Kalaris say this a lot, right? And I got to quote you both on this one. Going in the center of a city is not good. Don't do it. Yep. That is Imperium and Kalaris 2021. There you go. That's what they said, word for word. Of course, you want to play on the outskirts, which is why Exit Gaming is playing there. And I think it's really well played from them.
Oh, rad. I would say a little bit late to the party in terms of this area of the map comparative to the circle. I'm not a fan of it, to be honest. And they could get punished. The vehicles will be heard by Quarant 9, which you can see on the mini-map. They have 3, if not all 4 players kind of looking in the direction of the vehicles that Rad are holding onto up the mountain. So there you go. Shots are being fired up. Zen sending the message to Rad and going, you want to go near our location? We're going to punish you for it.
Yeah, but very rarely will this actually result in a team getting swiped out of the game. It's very hard to do because you've got such a big dip between these two mountaintops that sure, you might get a few knocks, you might use a little bit of resources of the enemies in terms of meds and also the health bar and also the strength of their vest and also their helmet. That is what's going to be annoying, so you've got to be very careful. Chari gets one tap there for a second. He's playing with a car 98. I thought that was going to connect for a second. That was a close one onto D-Lap. A little bit back and forth. And as we said, right, this fight is literally pointless. You're just trying to hurt them in the long term, not in the short term. So they're just trying to be a nuisance.
Definitely.
Which is fine. It works out too, but you've got to make sure that you keep those bullets because you can't loot on top of a mountain. Or it would be a really weird spot to find loot. And I would probably drop there a lot if that was the case, but I don't think there is.
No, there isn't. Deplete your opponent's resources, meds. Of course, it comes at a risk of you losing yours. Chari has to now use a few bandages, a couple of painkillers, so that's going to hurt them. But the reward is there should you find the right time to pull off a peek and shoot area. Well, Shuri is healing up. His teammate is taking a couple of shots in return. I do have to point out, it's so good to see bolt action being played out inside these games. I would say that Shari is being a bit too slow to peek and shoot. He's just holding his position too long before taking shots. It's why he's been chunked down at least twice now, but it's still nice to see bolt action being used.
Yeah, typically, if you guys are not too familiar with snipers in Miramar, which is the meta, typically you see a lot more of the Mini 14, the SLR also. So it's good. And they're going to be trying to use themselves a bit of the Kar 98, which is fine. It's just a big risk. If you hit the bullet, the reward is huge, but it's just a little bit harder because you don't have that fire rate that is making it a little bit more proactive. So you've got to say, trying to move out, that's completely okay. I appreciate that coming out from the other side. So only one team is now going to be remaining on this tippity top of the mountain, and that's going to be the one, guys, of Quadrant 9. Radar trying to move out. There you go. They got all the cars. They shouldn't be too hard to move away. They are in a position where nades could very easily connect, so you don't want to stay there for too long. One nade from up above, and boom, you're done. So we're near 9-9, and also Saydat are going to be moving away, wrapping around the northern side, as now we're going to be back into the other fight that was happening for the longest time. Going to be back with Xiaomi Esport France, as they are slowly but surely getting sneaked upon by Sky, and he's going to try and create a little bit of an opening for the rest of his team.
For a second, I thought Sky took the grenade and had hit, and it hit a container, but he threw out a couple of smokes so he can disengage away. And I gotta wonder why Sky got into that position on his own in the first place, because that is a clear waste of utility from Sky, and that could really punish them, at least if they don't pick up the kills onto the remaining players of Xiaomi Sport France. So a little bit disappointing from Haluda crew to me. I know it's still only phase 3, but you either commit fully or you don't really commit at all. Sky made a mistake in that regard. At least he's been able to disengage away. So for the time being, they have themselves up as a full squad. The thing is, they must not know that there's only 2 players there. They must presume that it's a full squad.
We didn't see a knock in the kill feed today. I have no idea who this is, and I don't know how many players are there. Even though I think that because of the building which they are, they might have an idea that they must be there as a or even less. Because normally, if you would have a 4-man crew, would have a 2-2 split across the 2 sides, the northern side and the southern side of these compounds. That would be the place. I would maybe speculate this is not a full team if I were them, but you don't want to jump to conclusions. That's typically what causes your demise in PUBG Mobile, so they're taking it a little bit slower. Sky, I like that, a little bit of a overhang position. That's good, but there's one big rearing issue I'm seeing right here in Imperium for Haluda crew is that they are having a standoff between these 2 teams, and the circle has moved away from them significantly, and they got to move around the position of our pods, though. You don't want to delay that. Is this really worth taking for only 2 kills? No, they have no idea this is 2 kills, but do you really want to take that risk of potentially losing a fight, or even if you do win it, you might get gate kept moving into the circle? If I were them, I would start moving right now. Illico Presto.
So glad you brought that up. Time is everything. Time is control. Time is kills. Time is relative, but it is realistically everything in PUBG Mobile. The earlier you react to the circle, the more time you have to get information in the next phase. The earlier you control the position, the more chance you're going to get kills. It's just, it's a domino effect, and you're dead right. If Haluda crew are not going to push on this at this stage of the phase 3 blue zone closing in, just get the hell out of there. And these kind of things low-key frustrate me. At least Xiaomi Esport France are looking to disengage. They're making a decision. I get why they took their time because they're only a duo, but they had, with all due respect, they had more cojones than Haluda crew at this stage of the game, and that might sound harsh, but it's true.
Yeah, the French team knew that this was just not worth it, even though they had a 2-man. We're just going to move out. This fight does not make any sense. Any sense whatsoever, and they started to move out. Unfortunately, that is not the case right now for Heluda Crew. They got to start moving forward, and hopefully they're not going to encounter a lot of teams. We saw there was a lot of teams right around them, but it seemed like, unfortunately, we said it was a good idea from Xiaomi Esport France to move away. It seemed like the plan didn't go accordingly. As one gets instantly shut down, they will be down to only one French homie. Let's see if things can be working out, but they're not even into the next circle because it actually ends up going straight over to the east. So this fight doesn't make a lot of sense either. But now we're getting to the stage where it's so hard to move away from these fights, especially in the city fight, that you kind of pin down until you have some players dying. Oh, wait. Spokoni takes the shots.
Oh, man.
Oh. Yep. Robbie down. Golden trying to move away too.
Like,
this is hard.
I get why Xiaomi Esports France, by the way, moved into El Pozo, because it makes sense. It's a city, more buildings,
true,
more area protection, and there's always probably going to be less chance that team is going to be there. But because rather down to 2 players, they did the same thing, but they did it earlier, so they're able to catch out Xiaomi Esports France.
It's time to engage now. We're going to be on Team 1. That's going to be Quarant 9 from Poland, taking the assault onto the likes of Team BNL. Had a little bit of a hard time, only 1 point last game. They need to make up for that poor performance on game 1 on the angle, but it seemed like things are not going to go their way. As Quarant 9 are going for the full engage, trying to breach this compound the best way they can. Open up, it's the FBI. As they got Sushi knocked away, but it's fine. Can still gather some information with that perspective, but they're going to try and confirm those kills. Crazy Charlie, not going to confirm it. Confirm the kills. Confirm the kills. What are you doing, mate? Got to go for it right now. Thank you very much. You see, he hears the footsteps. He knows there's a player very, very close to him. And that's going to be Rob V. And he's moving away. The smoke's making it a little bit harder to really deal with. He's going to be chucking some extra bunch of smokes to hopefully keep his teammates alive. But those kills should have been instantly secured. Those kills, as you said, it's 1 point. Rob V's going to be spotted away by the off angle of Crazy Chari, and that's done. That's going to be the end for the side of BNL as they get themselves another poor performance back-to-back. They're basically out of the race for top 3.
Yeah, unfortunately, but Quarantine 9 there, certainly not out of the race, because another couple of kills will help them in the overall standing. Is IUW gonna field a mix of 997H, M249 in the hands of Maestro. We call that the squad wiper in the PUBG Mobile caster community because it can do a hell of a lot of work. But it doesn't stop Solly from looking for another bit of third-party action, right? Exit gaming, being aware, not being tunnel vision of one individual fight, shows a resilience from IUW and the fact that they are confident in controlling their surroundings.
Though this is not an easy fight between these two teams, right? It's not the easiest because you've got so many dips, nook and crannies to play around that you might have one player, if you push and he's behind you, you're done. You're losing 2 players minimum. So they know that they don't want to be too overzealous, though the circle, you see that? What? That circle is right on top of them. Now might be a time where you're thinking, do we take that fight or do we just, we become neighboring teams and help each other out? Because if you take that fight, a team hears that and they're going to third party you. So you need to take the decision and fully commit to it.
Yep. Go hard or go home at this stage of the game because they're going to get stabbed in the back by the multiple teams and players around them. Now, the good thing is that we are down to 22 players. IUW have 4 of them, so that kind of does eliminate the full squad strength of third partying. But when you have 2 or 3 teams third partying, fourth partying, fifth partying you, obviously that can become hard in itself to deal with. It seems like they now look to be focused towards controlling 997H. It's a much better positional result from the Russian representatives, but without any real kills in this game too, with the lack of points they scored in the first game, it really isn't going to be enough to get them back up in the standings. Sambuca's knocked down. Maestro has the M249, but he's been put under pressure. A second knockdown comes on through, and IUW stepping up to the plate once again.
Gun won't do any damage if you don't know how to use it. Unfortunately, spraying aimlessly into the smoke will not be hitting the mark, and that M249 goes somewhat to waste, but they could pick it up. IW could pick up an M249, and if they do, that's going to spell absolute disaster for the team still remaining in this lobby. Luckily enough, though, for the other side, there's still going to be a player for 997H up and ready to go, but he's just going to play this one very calm, very silently, hoping to not get detected. Oh, I said, maybe I take that back. He's going to try and nade it up. never know, could get a little bit of extra damage up. Does not do too much at the end onto IUW, but IUW, this is a circle where we saw them last game. This is a game-winning opportunity. They might make the back-to-back dream happen in this event.
Then we have Quart 9 being dealt a ton of pressure at the hands of Exit Gaming. Unfortunately, Quart 9, the engagement got them kills early on, but now they're feeling the pinch on the outside of this Phase 5 circle. A couple of teams have gotten ahead of them. Now it is Rage that is looking in their direction. Man, they're staying somewhat out of sight, out of mind. A much better position for Rage. But will they be able to deal with what's going on around them while the last sole survivor of 997H does everything he can to get himself as many placing points as possible?
Yeah, unfortunately, Exit Gaming, they're between a rock and a hard place. They're surrounded by literally 3 teams and they're on a ridge line. If any team gets the win of information of them being there, they are donezo. Unless Tiffis has a nade, which I think he used a lot of them earlier versus IUW, so he might be out of utility. That's just a godsend over to Exit Gaming. Though, now the focus of Tiffis is going to be shifting right towards the first place team, which is current 9 currently. Or slot number 1, should I say. Rand's going to be trying to go for that push. One shot. Instantly with that one extra bullet onto the AKM. Elios goes own utility, got the information, has the right idea, but does not go in that dip in which Tiffis is currently set up house and set up shop in. Eliot will have to take that fight as a solo, but Tiffis is controlling this southern western side so well.
Wow.
Oh, be careful, get down.
No, Tiffis prone down. Yeah. Oh man, I was a little bit worried, but honestly, I'm behind him right now because he hasn't stayed quiet. He knows that he kind of needs to be opportunistic and be that thorn in the side to the multiple teams around him. And he's done exactly that. Elliot made a mistake by not moving with his teammate when he took that buggy across, which meant Tiffis was able to pick that one up. But now the last player of Exit Gaming is looking to move away, and the circle shifts up north into the open, loving arms of IUW, who are setting themselves up for a second chicken dinner in a row as Elliot goes down.
Well, we know Imperium, that was just a last resort kind of play. It's like, well, you know what? If I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out with a bang. And he gave it a shot, and unfortunately, he's the one that got banged. So a little bit of a hard one. Unfortunately, hopefully he can get himself a good performance in our third and last game over on Sanok. Sky, though, spotted out. Tiffin's going to go for the push. Sky, can you wait? You're healing me. You hear your footsteps. No way, Sky. You got to be looking out. You must be listening out. That's why you need to try and win the giveaway for some good earbuds. Because you have to listen to those audio cues. Tiffis, he's just going to try and run and Ushinbo his way forward. Hopefully can make it into a somewhat safe position with a ridgeline to play from, which luckily enough, he makes it in time. A few more ticks and he was done. But IUW are taking so much control with that spread. It's looking almost impossible to take it away from the Middle East representative.
But Pakistan's here to play. And knockdown gets played through. Apcrino and Camper, the 2 players left up for IUW. Unless Sully can be revived, but I kind of think it's too much of a risk. He's able to crawl away. He's bleeding out quickly, but is it going to be worth it? Too little, too late. IUW, they're down on their knees. Faster is knocked down from Rage, and I think that's just 1 player left standing for Rage.
That was bad, man. Sees his teammate go down right in front of him. Hopefully things will be working out for them. But now, when you only have yourself 2 players, a little bit harder to take this control, especially when Rage are also still up as a 2-man with 7 kills to their name. This is 2 top 3 podiums from Rage and also from IUW. They are setting themselves apart from the rest of this lobby so significantly. It is absolutely insane. We still have 997H. We said we wanted to see a lot better performances coming out from them in the second and third game of the day. They are doing so, sure, not by the most flashiest way possible, but it's still going to be a top 3, and at the end, that is allowing them to remain in the race for a possibility of being top 3 at the end. So this is great. Hopefully, he can also survive long enough to be in top 2 or even top 1, because this is a 1v2v2. It is not out of the realm of possibilities. We do see 997H take the win at the end.
Especially because Quart 9, who were kind of up there in terms of 11 points, didn't really have the best of games. So it's just about, again, creating that cushion coming into the final game. But now, as the blue zone of Phase 7 is closing in to Fizz, it's going to get spotted out.
Yeah, Tiff is trying to peek on over, get himself the AK. Not going to reload, though. Got to be careful. You've got to hit those shots. Going to switch on over to the Scar, but he's just going to get completely dunked on by IW with a two-man crew. Almost takes himself in a one-on-one, but now the entire focus of IW is going to be shifting over to the rest of Rage. Faster going to go extremely low, and he knows that he got so much damage. One bullet so he needs, but the first aid comes in clutch for Faster. And now he has the Thompson. You said it earlier, Imperium. That is a great weapon in a clutch situation. Afrano still on the front line. Got to wait for your teammate to try and assist you. Faster's going to go for the wide spray, but his teammate is there to back him up. It's a one-on-one. Now a 1v1 to close things off between Zen and also Camper. As Faster... actually, no, wait, Faster's back up on his 2 feet. It's going to be a 1v2. Actually, I take that one back. I didn't think so. Camper's going to get pushed, and now they've got the upper ground. There's nothing you can really do. The bloom shot does not connect, and that is going to be GG well play for the second game on Miramar. As Rage, they were so close game 1, but the game number 2 will hit the mark.
Absolutely fantastic from Rage. Much better teamwork than IUW in the end. Right, because Abcarino and Camper, that kind of synergy wasn't really there. Yeah, okay. Tifiz, the last player, was dealt with in that 1v1, but I didn't really feel like that connection between the final 2 players of IUW were there compared to game 1, and it proved it going up against the 2-man team of Rage. Was there a tiny bit of luck involved that Faster got that clutch first aid off in time? Yeah, but at the end of the day, he took that and he said, okay, I'm gonna make that first aid count. He grabbed that Thompson and he made good work of it, got the initial knock, and then it was all guns blazing for the 2 players of Rage to sweep in and take the final player down of IUW. As much as I would have loved to see a back-to-back win from IUW, it was a very much more deserved chicken dinner from the Pakistani team. Rage, fantastic.
Yeah, the typical rule of thumb in PUBG we go with when you have a 2v2 finish is whichever team gets the first knock, they typically get himself the win because they got the man advantage and they can just go for a little bit of a wider spread, and that's what they did. It was a little bit close. It could have gone wrong for a few seconds, but they just pushed it, went over the lip of that heel with a third-person perspective. It was very easy, and Camper was just completely pushed her back, heels up against the wall, and had no opportunity of taking that 1v2. So it was a good play coming out on the other side, and Rage, no, we said it. They got himself top 3 on that first game, and they actually gave himself the win. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to actually push them in number 1, because IW has also got a lot of kills that game. They are definitely the 2 teams currently in the race will be in number 1 at the end of this event.
And let's not forget Exit Game. They didn't have the best of performance, but I still think it was around 5th or 6th. You know, and again, that kind of could create at least to 3rd place in game 1 will help keep them within the running. Rad unfortunately had a very lackluster game, which hurts them in the overall standings. To me, and just because of like the bad result in game 1, I can't help but feel like the MVP of this game 2 was Tiviz of 997H, right? Last player up for his side. So many other players would have stayed prone down, but this guy was like, nah, I'm going to be opportunistic. I'm going to make some noise. I'm going to find some kills here or there. And he did exactly that, Max.
Yeah, we're going to be checking out a few highlights of this second Miramar game of the day on the Redmi Note 10 5G. Absolute top tier quality, as now we had some interesting early game action, but IUW, we've got to keep in mind, they were one of the very first teams to take a fight. They got themselves a squad wipe, 4 kills rate to their name, and we said it. When you start this early on, get a squad wipe, get 4 kills, and remain as a 4-man crew, that's a big confident boost. And that is what resulted in them being so controlling at the very end and pushing away a lot of the teams. It worked out great, and I want to see if they can try and continue on that launch in Game 3 on Sao, because this has definitely been the team that's been one step above the rest of the competition so far.
Man, you know, most of the time you hear an M249 and you automatically, not run away, but you maybe slow down or stop, where Solly was like, nah, I don't care. I'm going for it. And that confidence from IUW is the reason why they are up there. It's the reason why they won game 1. It's the reason why they're top 2 in game 2. And despite my criticism of the lack of connection between the final 2 players, you know, you can see that they are full of confidence.
Especially when with the M249, when you're doing a big wide spread, just a gloom shot from that kind of range, which I think was between maybe 5 to 25 meters. That is not a big threat, right? You're not going to be in too much danger for that one. As now we're going to be taking a quick little look at the overall rankings after this second game here for the Xiaomi fans. PUBG Mobile Battle Game Soul Survivor. And one team stands head and shoulders above the rest, and that is going to be the team of IUW, coming in hot from the Middle Eastern region with 46 points. Not actually being kills, 9 more than second place, held down by Team Rage. IUW is just looking to run away with those phones, man. That Redmi Note 10 5G, they want that one in the pocket.
Again, that cushion of 11 points is so healthy for them coming into Game 3. 19 kills, 27 placement points. That's a great balance, to be fair. We do still see Exit Gaming in third. They're only 1 point behind the side of Rage team, so those standings are definitely heating up. Still though, that gap between third and fourth is really not the best, and I want to see this final game really grabbed hold of by those teams that are in fourth, fifth, and sixth.
Yeah, hopefully things are going to be coming good into this one. But you know what? As you said, we've got some more questions. So just for you guys at the back to maybe have a little bit of a bad audition that didn't quite hear what we were saying earlier, we're going to go back through the specs of the Redmi Note 10 5G, or if you're in Russia, it's also called the Redmi Note 10T. Make sure you can get the next question correct. It's going to be happening just a bit, so open your ears and be very, very aware. Again, this event is brought to you by the Redmi Note 10 5G with 5G high-performance processor to support all of your speed needs. Sporting the powerful MediaTek Dimensity 5G chipset, the Redmi Note 10 5G is ready to go and challenge the boundaries of gaming performance. 7nm processing technology and integrated modem offer high performance with lower power consumption, so users can enjoy some good prolonged use of their device without worrying about power drain. With support for dual SIM, the Redmi Note 10 5G is a productivity beast, just like IUW being absolute beasts in those two first games, Imperium.
And to complement the fantastic 5G chipset that is in the device, you have a wonderful 6.5-inch FHD Plus dot display with 90 Hz refresh rate. Yes, 90 Hz refresh rate. The Redmi Note 10 5G offers a beautiful display with smooth usage. And beyond the 90 Hz, one of the great things about it is that it is capable of adjusting it automatically to suit your needs. So whether that is watching a stream on 30 Hz, or whether it's scrolling through social media on 60 Hz, or gaming on that 90 Hz display, it guarantees a smooth experience and optimum battery usage.
Yeah, so if you want to switch back and forth between watching the Soul Survivor tournament here, also playing the game, man, the phone will adapt just in time for you, so it'll make it real easy for you. But also, you've got to keep in mind that if you want to try and set up your picture game, if you want to try and take big horizon pictures that look really good, this is definitely the device for you also, as it does boast a 48 megapixel triple rear camera. The Redmi Note 10 5G was made to create. Its triple camera setup includes a 48 megapixel main camera, a 2 megapixel macro camera, and also a 2 megapixel depth sensor. While its creativity tools, such as night mode, slow motion, or even time-lapse video, turn any user into a creative professional. That can be me, that can be Imperium, that could be you at home. So definitely check it out if that is something you're interested in.
Will it catch every detail of my beautiful beard, Max?
I can count the hairs one by one. Perfect. I'm telling you, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And, you know, for all the selfies I'll be taking of my beautiful beard, you do have to have some massive battery capacity behind it. And you know what? The Redmi Note 10 5G has it. It touts a massive 5000 mAh battery with 18 watt fast charging. So users can stay powered throughout the day and even during periods of heavy usage. So whether it's gaming, selfie taking, or just scrolling through social media, the Redmi Note 10 has it all.
Yeah, that could allow you to scroll throughout all the Instagram stories that Imperium has ever posted, which I think by now is the equivalent of 10 trilogy movie sessions. But there you go. With that said, hope you guys paid very close attention, because we have our second question here, and the prize to win is going to be a Redmi Note 10 5G. Just one, not three. You better be quick, you better be fast. The question is, how many lenses does the Redmi Note 10 5G have? But that's not everything. Not only must you say how many there are, you've got to say what are they? Got to be very specific. And the first person to answer that question correctly will get himself the Redmi Note 10 5G. Best of luck, everyone out there. It's like a battle royale, but in the YouTube chat. There's only one that's going to be winning it. There's only one survivor. Sole survivor, actually. So, yeah, best of luck, and hopefully people can get it. Imperium, did you pay attention? Do you know the answer?
No, I don't know the answer. Once again, I'm terrible.
Never learn, Imperium. Heavily
but
disappointed.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I learned by doing, so you know. Who knows if Xiaomi wants to, you know, send me a Redmi Note 10 5G. You know, I'll definitely be able to learn the answer to that question. I'll tell you that much. Nudge, wink, wink. But of course, like you mentioned, it's only on YouTube. That's the most important thing. So if you're watching on a different platform, head on over to the Xiaomi YouTube channel. Subscribe while you're there, because why not? And of course, throw your answer in the chat to be in with a chance of winning.
There you go. Once again, the question is, how many lenses does the Redmi Note 10 5G have, and what are they? Got to be very specific. Say how many they have and what are they all called, and you have a chance to win yourself the Redmi Note 10 5G. Just one though, so you better be ready. But that's not all. We're not done with the giveaways just yet. We're gonna have another one at the end of our third game on Sanhok. So you better stay tuned and stay put, because that one's coming up pretty damn soon. Sanhok is a really quick map, so you better stick around for that one. It will be up in just a few minutes time, Imperium. But man, so many things to give away at the chat. I feel like Father Christmas, and it's just like July. Man, this is early Christmas. I'm loving it.
Oh no, not Father Christmas. Oprah, right? So it's like, you get one. Well, okay, it's not really you get one.
There's only one.
She normally gives it.
You get one,
to everybody in the audience. But my point is, you know, you get one and nobody else gets anything else. But it does feel good to be giving away stuff. I tell you that much.
Yeah, it's going to be great. But with that said, that is going to be it for our two first games on Erangel and the Miramar. Only one game now remains. It's going to be on Sanhok. So with that said, myself and Imperium, as always, we'll head on over to another very short break, just about 5 minutes. And after that, we'll be heading into our very last game on Sanhok. We'll be followed up also with the final question of the giveaway. And we'll be deciding who will be our very first team in the Xiaomi Fans PUBG Mobile Battle game, Sole Survivor. Stick around to have the answers to all those questions.
Urbana kultura je kao druga kuća ljudima koji se osjećaju drugačije. Breakdance je ekstreman ples koji dolazi iz urbane kulture. Break je jako poseban meni zato što je oformio moj personalitet. Pre sam bio jako tih i povučen. Ovaj ples mi je otvorio vrata zato što sam sada mnogo direktniji i slobodniji. Break je ekstreman ples koji te tera da prelaziš svoje granice zato što iz tebe izlači neku ekstremnu snagu. To znači da se zaista možete povrediti. Poprilično i zato ekstreman. Bio sam povređen. Imao sam povredu kolena. Ta povreda me jako uplašila zato što kada se desila, mislio sam da nikada opet neću moći da plešem. Prevazišao sam povredu s pomoć mojih drugara koji nikada nisu odustajali od mene, čak ni kada sam pauzirao sa treningom.
And here we have it, 2 games done, 1 game now remaining for the Xiaomi fans. PUBG Mobile battle game, so Survivor. Only one team will end up being at the top, and we'll all know which will be that one team right after this last game on Sanhok. But Imperium, you seem excited. Sanhok is going to be a real tricky one. Smallest map, but you have 11 teams, so it's not going to change too much to what we already know because teams typically tend to take fights early on this map. So I don't think we're going to expect too many big changes on Sanhok.
There's 2 elements with this, right? You've got the fact that despite it being a short and sweet format, it is the final game. That is always going to put more pressure on the teams mentally, right? So that's one factor. And the second factor that, yes, indeed, it is Sanhok, baby. It is the RNG, crazy, anything can happen map. You could have hot drops in boot camp. You could have action here. Split drops might find teams getting punished. So those 2 elements in play together, and honestly, you are looking at a very exciting Game 3. IUW, they set themselves up really nicely to finish on top of the standings, but will they fall when it matters the most, right? Yeah. Will they hit hard when they need to? We are looking at the overall standings. You can see the difference. You couldn't ask for a better cushion realistically after only 2 games for them, but they still have to put it together in this Game 3.
I'm going to be very, very clear, Imperium. For me, you're looking at 4th position and below, they're out. Like, if you want Quarantine, Exit Gaming, Heluda Crew to do well, they need 30 points, right? And seeing how good IW has been performing, and even Team Rage and Rad,
that's true.
I think it's not feasible to catch up. If they had a big throw and they all died right at the start of that game, there is a clear-cut opportunity for Quarantine, Exit Gaming, and Heluda Crew. If that doesn't happen and we see one of these 3 teams make it far into the game, that's game over. So when we're looking at the odds, at the percentages, if you guys know me, you know I'm really bad at math, but I can tell you the odds are definitely not in the favor of those teams that are below 4th. So things are going to get a little bit tricky for them. We'll see if IW, Team Rage, or Rad will be the ones standing at the very top at the end. And I'm impressed. I really want to say I'm heavily impressed with Rad. We said how we want to see them frag it out more. The rotations were once again clean. Sure, they didn't get remotely close to top 3. But the kills alone is what's keeping them in the race with 34, 1 point behind second. They might be able to be the kings of the Soul Survivor event at the very end.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm just really impressed with Rage and IUW. Realistically, I'm so impressed with them. Just in terms of, and it's funny because I said it's not about consistency, that the punchy performances will pay off more heavily in this short format. But being someone that looks out for consistency, I can't help but find myself drawn to it. 2 good games, 2 good results from both sides. It speaks for itself, and it's why they have that cushion against the teams around them. It's why they are so solidified. But again, the question remains, are they going to be able to pull it out in game 3 once again? Will Rage be able to stand up to the pressure that's around them? I know Pakistan is a region that has been constantly evolving and growing over the last year and a half, whether it's a national championship, whether it's a campus championship, whether it's the likes of freestyle that competed in last year's PMWL. It is a region that are definitely stepping up to the plate across the whole of South Asia and the world as a whole. But for Team Rage, they're on their own in this competition. Nobody but themselves around them. They're going to have the experience and mentality to deal with this pressure.
Yeah, I mean, we had teams back in the PMPL EMEA Championship Season 1, like I'm thinking of Guns, that definitely stepped up for the Arabic/Middle Eastern region, and we could have others such as also the likes of Team Rage be that next team in line to actually try and step up to the pressure, as you said, or to the plate in good fashion. So there are so many teams there that could do really well. And at the end, it is a one-day tournament. It is not of the official circuit, so you're fine. But I think this is also a great first learning experience. That's what we keep on saying, right? For teams where this is their first time in a tournament of this amplitude, you're looking at teams such even the French teams or even the teams from Colombia, Russia. They're going to see this as, okay, now we have a VOD available on the internet. We can do a VOD review. And if we go into, I don't know, a PMCO or PMPL later on down the line, this is such valuable experience that you cannot find anywhere else. Scrims cannot replicate this because these are teams trying their best to be on top of their game. You can't replicate this. So this is some of the these chances of teams to get the most experience possible to be the best version of themselves they can be. So even if you do not make it, even if you're not top 3 at the end, just realize that yes, you made it to this event in the first place, which is great. You got invited. That's not one thing that every single team can boast about. And learn from it, grow from it, and the next event you get into, aim for a little bit of a higher position and just keep on climbing upwards.
Look, I'm a lover of food, so I compare competitive gaming and experiencing and getting to the top as a stack of pancakes or a stack of crepes, considering you're French, right? Every single pancake adds to the eating experience, right? The more pancakes you have, the more you're going to enjoy the food, right? It's the same thing with competitive PUBG Mobile. The more events you play, the more tournaments you have under your belt, the more experience you're gaming, the more you're able to then touch and hone and just adjust your play style, both as an individual player and as a team coming into future tournaments. It just adds so much weight and value. So credit to all these teams, even if you don't finish first, second, or third, you know, it doesn't matter. The fact that you're here, the fact that you're competing in this event, I tip my hat to you, my friends, because this is awesome.
Yeah, Tip says hat with no hat. That's a lie. You're lying to us, Imperium. I cannot. That's not okay.
Damn,
We're gonna have to talk with the PUBG Mobile team up. just pick out a fedora. I'll have to judge you real hard. But yeah, I mean, things are going to get interesting as we get into this one, and hopefully I got a bunch of One Piece posters. I saw people refer to that in the chat. We're hoping to see them go gear 2nd, gear 3rd, or even gear 4th in this final game, because it is going to be down to the wire. This is the last opportunity for them to get points and change their overall rankings. After this one, it is locked, and you're donezo, and we'll see who's going to be the top 3, because only top 3 teams get prizes. If you're 4th or below, you're getting nothing, but at least you did show up. You did have the experience that we mentioned is extremely valuable itself.
I may not be wearing a hat to tip, but my beautiful PUBG Mobile character has a hat that he can tip. There you go.
I don't think I would call that a hat. I would call that a helmet. But is a helmet a type of hat?
Helmet, a hat? Exactly. A helmet is a type of hat. It's the definition of a hat is something that you put on your head. You put a helmet on your head, it's a hat. There you go.
I could go very, very far into this conversation with him. I think we're going to stop the combo there for now. Could go completely off topic, and that's not what we're here for. If you guys are interested in our rants, feel free to go follow us on Instagram. We post random stuff from time to time in our stories. But though, Imperium, we're going to take ourselves back on track, back onto the event here, the Soul Survivor tournament.
Yeah, definitely.
Sanhok. Seeing what we've seen on Erangel and Miramar from the field, the team's talking about Sanhok. There you go. I invoke it. I feel like Harry Potter right now. Are there any maybe players or teams that you think, by what they showcased in the first 2 games, they could do well coming into this third and final game on Sanhok?
Exit game, firstly. Because of
Yeah,
how
we talked about them,
aggressive
yeah.
they were in game 1. I think that's required. And it's obvious, but it has to be IUW. Has to be IUW, right? Because even in that fight against 997H in game 2, we mentioned that when the circle kind of centered around them, they needed to be somewhat controlling. They were, right? They were controlling. They engaged on them, and it's a similar to what you have to do in Sanhok. If the circle goes towards you because you have the RNG of the river, you really have to protect your area.
Yeah, that's going to be the plan. I agree. I think that when you're known as an aggressive team, things could be coming your way pretty nicely, especially on Sanhok, which is a map that's all about playing aggressively and taking those engages.
Yeah.
I love the position which Exit has already dropped into. It's pretty good. Got a 2-2 split right up north of Ruins. Hopefully they don't go deep into Ruins. But I see on the other side of the spectrum, there is already going to be a little bit of action, I believe, towards the cavern area. So we'll see how things are going to be rolling out this time around. But they are opportunities for Team Dine out early with the Vector Sky going to be taken on down instantly by Rob V. And he has himself the UMP. And Marco will not be able to find the entry point to the cave area. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of an early interaction that I don't think teams are fully prepared for.
Man, it's rare you see an engagement in cave of all places, right? You know, normally barely one team drops her, never mind 2 teams, so bit unorthodox, but utilizing the high ground could definitely work out for the side of Haluda crew. Be careful though not to overstep and fall down to your death. Give it free over to the opposing team, but shots are being fired, raining down literally under Rob V. He has no idea where they were coming from, and Nyx is gonna grab that one. Great play.
It's like fishing in a barrel right now, but instead of a fish, it's humans, and instead of a barrel, it's a big mountain. So it's fishing humans in a mountain. That's weird. Maybe we won't be using that one. I think we'll keep the original one. With a shotgun now, maybe not the best weapon at this range. This is... Oh, he runs out of the cavern, man. Oh, okay, he's jumping now. There's going to be a lot... Oh, okay, they're going to the water down below. Interesting. Okay, I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. This is a little bit out of the ordinary. This is a little bit unorthodox. But now the players are actually moved away. They see the player right there. I think that he has a little bit of connectivity issues. They're going to move out and loot up everything for themselves.
Yeah, unfortunately, if kind of Mandy had been maybe a bit more of a distraction point, that could have been the case. And yes, that's an M249 already. Yep.
I forgot to mention, so we're talking about changes to a very important right in this most recent 1.5 update of PUBG Mobile. One thing that I forgot to omit, but is I think one of the most important changes in this patch is they added a new weapon to the crate, but they also removed a weapon from the crate. They did the same with the DBS, and that is what happened to the M249. Now, M249 spawns naturally around the map. So if you are, by default, a really strong M249 player, those spawn naturally around every single map of Miramar, Erangel, and also Sanhok. And on Sanhok and M249 Imperium, that spawns naturally, and you loot that in the first few seconds of your Sanhok game. That is a gift from the heavens. That is the perfect weapon to start off with.
It definitely is. And look, the players, the teams, and myself can't control it. It's there. You use it. Abuse it, so to speak. Honestly, though, I'm not a fan of it. I think part of what made the M249 special is the fact that it was only available in a crate. So when you got it, you knew that there was a bit of a risk around it, and therefore, you know, it was like a reward for that, right? Whereas it being available more freely, I think it takes a bit of the shine away from the gun. Still fantastic to hear it being used. It still is dangerous, but when it's more freely available, I know there's something, I think, taken away from it now. But in the end, teams and players, they can use it to their advantage.
I believe it did get nerfed a little bit, though, because now it's a weapon that naturally spawns. I think the ammo count, instead of 100, has been down to 75. I think that's how it went. So it is not as strong. You can't just continuously spam the reload count at the time. It's still going to be on 7 seconds. The Solly, though, takes that spray. Such a good spray, but just 1 or 2 HP, too short on actually getting that knock. He's going for the full-on push. He's pushing this one in a really weird way. You got to be careful. Get to that rock. He gets there in time, but the response from 997H Imperium, at least for me, it seems non-existent. There's no defense. They're just letting them get super close and personal, which I want to see those shots. I want to see them trying to gather information, which it doesn't seem like they're doing.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. This engagement isn't won by IUW, but when you're talking about taking advantage of the fact that you have 4 walls around you and the opposing team is in the open, that's not being done. But IUW, they found another target in sight, and it's the second place team, the team that's contesting them for first place in the Soul Survivor event.
Let's go. Things are starting off good for the likes of Rage. But this is big because they're both in top 3, right? This is going to have such a long an impact. Whichever team dies now, your chances of making it in the first place to get yourself the phones is donezo. You want that Redmi Note 10 5G, you need to stay alive. But they have yet to see the kill feed and know exactly who they're dealing with. Because this is going to be the change of mindset. If you know who you're killing, if you know who you're fighting against, do you fully commit? Or do you leave because you know that is a really big risk? What's the game plan? And that's things that team need to be ready to take decisions for. As Zen spotted a tree, trying to pre-fire into that smoke, but he's going to have to go for the little bit of a wider wraparound.
Camper's
trying to get one-on-one, just like last game. It was Zen versus Camper Imperium, but Zen is going to be taken aback from behind, and he's going to be completely shut down by IUW. Still going to lose Camper themselves. There's a lot of back and forth. This fight is so close, but at the end, we know only one can really come out on top.
As much as IUW are heavily separated, you gotta give them credit. Still doing something from a distance. Solly working wonders in that area. The revive has been laid off, and Solly is left on his own. What did I say to you, Max, before the start of this game? Yep. They done well in game 1. They're fantastic in game 2. But if you don't get the job done on the final game of a tournament, is it really worth it? You know what I mean? You can't fail in the final hurdle, right? IUW, yes, they have the cushion, but they still now, as the last player, have got to survive until the late stages of the game. Everything they can do to get 3rd place, Sully has the weight of the world on his shoulders.
What we're trying to say is you don't want to trip at the finish line. That is not the way to go. Or you don't want to take a big piece of cardboard in your head, like in the Tour de France. That is also a good way to lose your kind of footing in the tournament. Okay, I don't know if you watched that one, but that was pretty funny. Anyway, push is going to be coming out from Rad here with a Thompson. They're wrapping around big and wild while keeping Mooney 99 from a distance, and there's not much you can do, unfortunately. That's going to be a great engage with that one Rad with 116 bullets. He's already to slam it down. As I mean, there's not really much to say. This is just a team getting completely obliterated by Rad, and the more aggressive nature is paying off really good. Now then you need Nyx, and his compound is going to be theirs to take and do whatever the hell they want. The nades going to be losing their pin. A little bit far, a little bit wide. Interesting cooking, but that's going to be it. Nyx, the nade from Sadie will be perfect. And that's going to be the team eliminated. 3 kills over to Rad. This is good to be in that number 1 at the end of this game.
Yeah, they're putting themselves in a good position of kind of getting back up into the standings overall. But another hell in play is the Hell Warriors. They're in their own little fight going up against 997H. Commodity's knocked down. Knight of Rage team could be a little bit of a thorn in the side for both of these teams, but he takes a bit of damage and has to go back behind a rock.
997H have no breathing space. They're continuously getting harassed in some way, shape, or form. Getting pushed upon this time around is going to be by none other than the Hell Warriors. But it's still interesting how they position himself in this one. But regardless, 997 are surrounded by foes. They are got 2 teams, 1 team on the northeastern edge, 1 team directly down south of their position. But it seemed like the Rage and also the Hell Warriors are going to be cancelling out each other in some way, Imperium. and is actually helping out the situation of 997. So what they have to do is stay put, stay prone, avoid the fight directly, and maybe pick up a few scraps along the way. But unfortunately, Sambuca gets instantly shut down by Rage, and that is a res that we know Imperium is not possible to get. Or if you do try and go for the res, that's going to require a lot of resources, and you're not even sure it's going to work out in the first place.
Like, at the end of the day, it's 997H's own fault that they've allowed themselves to be surrounded, right? They could have third-partied that fight between Rage and IUW, but they didn't. They barely made a noise. And now, 2-3 minutes later, they have Hellwarriors coming in from behind, and they've done absolutely nothing about it, and they've one player confirmed down, another player knocked. For Rage team, they're just being Rage Shadow Legends and just watching in the shadows, looking to pick off a kill here or there. It's beautifully played by them. And one thing to note is in that fight with IUW, what was really valuable for their late game is that they kept themselves up as a full squad. I don't know if it's still the case now because I saw one of their players knocked, but in terms of just, you know, grabbing kills and keeping players up, it was 100% worthy investment to the moon for Rage team in that engagement with IUW.
Yeah, like investing in Bitcoin, man. They just got himself they struck gold, and now the investment is paying off pretty heavily. Knight's going to be spotted out in the open. Actually, really good spray and retaliation. Terry going to be respecting his boundaries and moving straight back. Going to be using a few bandages to get himself back to 75% health. As Knight deciding to, you know what, this is not worth it. We're very spread. He was just there remaining behind for the rest of his crew, and he's going to start moving, I believe, to join up with the rest of the pack. The things are looking good, but now we are phase 2. Things are going to be closing around these teams in just about 1 minute and 10 seconds.
No.
As Soli, oh no. Oh, they have no idea he's there.
Oh no.
Oh no. Gets the weapon out. The race spread down. Rolling. Boom. Instantly drops dead. He's going to go for the double. Picks it up. Soli extremely low. No way. Oh, puts him down to 50% HP. He got himself 2 players and almost a third. That would have been an insane clutch if I've ever seen one. But unfortunately, Soli will not be able to go the distance. But if his team was there, Imperium, if his team was there, if he had some crewmates, those kills would have been confirmed, and that would have been an insanely good setup from Soli. Despite him going down, that is a big respect coming my way towards Soli, because he has just been outstandingly performing every single game on this event.
Big respect for Sully, but with all due respect, if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, Max, it doesn't matter, because IUW have fallen at the final hurdle. They have fallen in the final game early on. 9th place, that will give them what, 1 point? I don't believe they even got a kill as well. Maybe 1. It is Rage Team's victory. Their devices are in the palm of their hands. They've already got 5 kills. So? They have the full squad back up. Yeah, man, this is Rage Teams. I think they'll do enough. We're down to now 18. We're getting into the territory where quickly it will be 6 to 8 points per kill. That will be enough to put them in first.
And maybe good to talk about this push from Rad. Absolutely clear out this entire position. Punisher was the last hurdle to overcome, and they did it in great fashion. So that's 7 kills already over to Rad. And they were third last time we saw them in the overall rankings. So if they can keep things going that way, they should be great. But as you said, 11 point though, that is something to keep in mind. But they are definitely closing that gap. Rage, if they keep on going like this, they might be actually able to overtake it at the very end. So they need 12 points minimum, 13 if they want to be 100% sure they overtake it to make up for that point disadvantage in the tiebreaker situation. It could be happening. We're not sure of the tiebreaker rule set, so we don't want to try and jump to conclusions. But that 1 point you mentioned earlier, this is a situation where it could come in heavily and it could cost you everything.
Tifiz, he stole my heart in the last game by being opportunistic as the last player up. Can he do it once again? Rage have another team around them as well, which they're going to have to deal with. The knock that came through has been revived up. Lovely Nate through the window, but not quite enough. Inside the corner he goes, going to use the third-person perspective to look for it, but the body advantage works out in their favor. A Rage team from Pakistan pick up their 6th kill.
Okay, now all you have to do is survive a little bit longer, and that should be enough positioning points for you to actually overtake IUW in first place. That is the name of the game. And I know if they're doing their math, they should be very aware of where currently they are in a position in the overall standings. And they know that they need to survive just a little bit longer. But man, that push from Hell Royals got absolutely denied. And now then you have one player alive. It's going to be Killua. He's going to take that fight. He's going to need the power of the net to make things work out in time. But he's just getting completely cornered in his building and mowed down to pieces. Gets shredded by Rage. And now they're up to 8 kills. And now Imperium, you said it earlier, I'm going to say it now. That should be Rage ending up first because of them taking down this entire team.
Man, talking about living up to your name, you know when you get that burning rage and desire where you go Super Saiyan mode? That's exactly what this team is doing in the final game where it counts. They're unleashed. 8 kills. We're down to our final 5 teams. Man, fantastic. And the teamwork behind that, the fact that they have still a full squad up. You know, they're working like a well-oiled machine in this game. I wonder, can they be stopped? Credit to Rad. They're looking good. They're on 7 kills. But man, I just don't think Rage can be slowed down.
Nah, they went gear second ages ago, man. They are feeling so good. They want to be the kings of the Pirates. They want to be the king of the Soul Survivor event. That is for sure. As things are going to be moving on, you still got to watch One Piece Imperium. I think that we'll have a better caster-to-caster relationship the day you do watch it. But it's kind of 1,000 episodes, so I kind of get why you wouldn't want to watch it. No, it's fine. It's a lot of commitment.
Is that all? Only 1,000?
I did that in a day. Easy. I got 4 screens. Easy, man. We're going to watch 4 at a time. But yeah, it's kind of a big show. But you know what? This is not a big show. This is a very short show. Only 3 games. That's way shorter than any anime show I've ever watched. And yet, the ending is better than any anime I've watched so far, man. Is what do you call it already? When it's a big surprise. I forgot the word. And it's out of nowhere.
Cliffhanger?
Plot twist. Plot twist. It's a big
plot
twist.
twist.
There you go.
There you
That's what I
go.
was going with.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
It's Death Note
Man.
2.0. I'm not expecting to get that one. It's fine.
Had a very good game 1. Their game 2 was definitely lackluster, but I think all the kills they garnered from game 1 has kept them in with the running to hold on to top 3 and possibly even take over IUW in second place. Sorry, and I'm not trying to disregard how good IUW have done, because credit, the first 2 games were fantastic from IUW. And,
we're definitely looking at the story we're trying to tell is the story of the team being first, right? That is what we're aiming for. And as you said, IUW, if they die now, there's a chance that IUW could still be first, but they would need to die right now. If they don't, that is
right now
game over. And so they need to try and potentially survive just a little bit longer. They are playing the survivalist game as things are moving on. But as you said, Exit Gaming, they could be the team to snatch away last second. And even if they do get themselves a big kill count and also a big game, they could be taking first place by just a few points. It is that close between the top 3 currently. These are the big teams that we're going to be focusing on. So now Exit is going to be one of the few teams you've got to pay very close attention to, and Rage, not IUW, as they did go out a little bit early in this one. So things are just going to wrap around and close off. But we talk about the Circle Imperium. There are not too many good compounds, but there's a lot of high ground position or hilltops to play from. So the information game is going to be so important for the teams that already have control of those ridge lines.
And especially because of the decent bit of early game action we had, there is that air of quietness now for the teams, especially with the circle shifting in the direction of 3 of the 5 remaining teams. You can't presume that your position is still good. You still have to be on red alert that a team outside the circle could come in, a team that's already inside the circle could rotate into your position. You really can't take it for granted, because if you get caught napping, boom, down goes your potential of either winning if you're Rage, winning if you're Exit Game, being top 3 if you're Rad. There's a lot to play for. Quart 9 maybe haven't lived up to part of what I might have expected. when I saw them in the early parts of game one, but there is still a sparkle in their playstyle, which I believe they can really build on if they continue on throughout the 2021 year in the same squad. Like, this is a team that I'm really seeing play in PMCO, right? So, you know, to be fair, they do probably have a limited amount of experience, but credit where it's due, they've shown really good signs of strength.
Yeah, PMCO is like the kiddie side of the pool, and then you got PMPL is like, oh, well, my feet don't touch the floor anymore. Now I've got to start swimming. So they're there, but they'll slowly get to the adult side of the pool very, very soon. As they're going to get for a little bit of a push to Xiaomi Esport France. Skidoo's going to be very far away from the rest of the crew. The moment he gets information, full priority of the French team should be going towards this onto where Core9 currently are playing. But Imperium, one thing we didn't mention on the circle, 3 teams on the circle right now. Rage, you also have yourself Exit Gaming, and also Rad. Those are the 3 important teams that are still alive in this lobby that are in such a good spot. I don't think they're going to fight just yet, but hitting phase 5, phase 6, those teams are going to be forced to fight each another. And that is going to be extremely important for the teams to win those. If they don't, that's a potential huge prize just going down the drain instantly. Oh, wait.
You're dead right.
Sushi.
Now, they might not be aware of it, but we certainly are. I like the fact that Core9 are respecting the fact that they're going up the hill.
No. Skidoo, you cannot waste the opportunity. 1 bullet. This Sushi connect on the Thompson. Now got to reload, get back up to 50 bullets. We've got to be careful behind you. They have time to set up a trap. And Golden is there to try and play spoilers on the entire position of Core9. The man Skidoo unfortunately lost that golden opportunity, gets instantly flushed away. As Golden's going to try and retaliate with his own bit of utility. They need to send the entire team. What a nade from Golden. Going to follow that one up with a molly. Potentially confirm Sushi out of the lobby instantaneously and putting Core9 down to 2 players. But man, as I said, Skidoo would have held that one and not pre-fired that early. That could have been such an easy hold to defend, but unfortunately aimed a little bit too early and lost the surprise factor that they had in the first place. They're partying. Yeah,
you got milliseconds between a good decision and a bad decision, and that was that millisecond that turned into a bad decision for Skidoo. Zen's getting the revive onto Zushi. It hasn't been confirmed. Golden is knocked down. Great teamwork from Core9. The revive comes out and the response is fair. Kropakalier, he's now, I believe, left on his own. He wasn't really doing anything to support Golden as well, so a lack of teamwork, unfortunately, has been shined up. He's prone down. The snake play might work out. The pre-fire comes on through. He gets a knock, but the teamwork is there. Core9 get the squad wipe. It's much deserved. Much deserved from the Polish side.
Yeah, that's a fight. It's a very slippery slope, literally and also figuratively, because they started losing 1 player. The moment you lose that 1 point of pressure on the opposing team, they're going to push you like it's absolutely nothing. Really hard push. And at the end, that is going to be the end for the French team. No focus on the circle itself. Rad again, completely flabbergasted. Oh my God. And having a real hard time holding onto the northern side again, pushed up by Rage. Rage still up as the 3-man. They only lost Knight, Jarling, and also Zen and Faster are still up and raring to go. But Rad, you've got to be careful. They still got a few players on the back end, especially just 1, if I'm not mistaken, as they're all getting confirmed 1 by 1. And that is going to be done for Rad. They are eliminated out of this game, and we're going to have now 3 teams up and ready to go. And Rage are still in the race. Still looking so aggressive in this finish, Imperium.
Exit game now going to look to join the mix, plus the fact that they control this circle as it shifted down south. I think Rage got a little bit distracted by Core9, and that's what allowed one of their players to get taken out. But Drawlin, he finds Shuri. That knockdown is going to be a game changer for Rage.
You're going to get flushed down that mountain so hard. This is Exit Gaming's game to win, Imperium. And if they do so and actually overtake IUW that died relatively early in this Sanok game, they could be right behind Team Rage, who would be first. This is everything. Or they die now and they get 0 prizes for themselves potentially, or they could just go to the extra mile and actually snatch away a 2nd spot. We'll have to see how things go out. I'm not sure how many points went the way of Rad, so that's why I'm kind of assuming it could be a 0 win for them. But I do think that that's going to be a top 3 minimum. But they need to be so controlling, but seem like they don't really have to, as Rage and also Core9 are getting really close to each other and are forced to fight one another. And unfortunately, Core9 are out in the blue Imperium. This is so hard on the team for Poland. Oh no.
Zen gets a knock, Benny on the trolling. It's a three-way dance.
Three-way dance indeed, Imperium. This is looking horrendous for Rage. Got himself a little bit of a position to fight from, but one nade, Imperium. One nade is all you need. We still got one player up and ready to go for Quant 9, but he's in the block trying to heal it up, trying to snatch away potentially a second spot to get some extra position in the rankings. It's not easy. As Exit, only 3 kills. Don't think it's going to be enough to overtake the likes of IUW, but top 3 should be somewhat assured by being in the podium on this final game on Sanhok. He's trying to heal off, trying to survive. Once again, a second spot is all they need. But utility, as we said, Exit Gaming 1 nade, and that is done for Rage.
The thing is, our Exit team going to be distracted by the final player of Quarter 9. Will they allow themselves to get caught out by the 2 remaining players of Rage?
Potentially, that's his last first aid kit. Gets it done. He knows he has to jump out. I think he got the information on the player of Exit Gaming for a split second. Goes for the spray and it gets absolutely negated away from that spot. Exit Gaming now still up as an insanely talented crew, up as a 4-man. And now trying to go for the engage onto Rage. Rage, nice play from Zen. Gets a knock on Carney. And they're trying to move away, but Rage has just been so consistent throughout this event. It's so surprising, but faster. Unfortunately, not fast enough, as he's going to be the next casualty. And they find the last player, and now it's going to be set game and match as Exit Gaming too close onto the first game. But game number 3 is where they will take themselves the win on Sanhok with a juicy amount of kills to show up for it. 6 in total, but man, at the end, the story to be told, Imperium, is the story of Rage. 4 kills for Faster, Zen, and Drawling, and 2 for Knight. That is one hell of a consistent team. Not one player singled out carrying the entire team. That's the entirety of Rage working together to be number 1 at the end of the Soul Survivor event.
Rage team, 3 games, 3 top 3s. Absolutely standout, banging results across the way. And just the ability to draw out all those kills when it counted in that final game. 14 in total. Yeah, okay, a chicken dinner would have been a nice tabletop or a nice cherry on top of what has been a sweet cake day for them. But at the end of the day, they controlled their destiny. They controlled that final game so well. Exit game, nice to see them bounce back from a little bit of a disappointing Miramar game to get a chicken dinner in the final game. And I reckon that could have them overtake IUW and be in second place. Could be. I'm very excited to find out, but I kind of want to play the devil's advocate role and say they've done it.
It could. It literally could. I'm thinking back, and they were, I believe it was just 1 point behind second. It was Rage at the time. So they were 12 points behind first. And because he got himself actually the win, that's 15. Yep. And if the points that would not secure were not actually enough onto the other side for IUW, we could see a complete change of what we were expecting in our top 3. So we'll have to see. Time will tell us once we go to the overall rankings. But anyways, Imperium, we're going to have to go through a few of the replays and the best plays of this entire game on Sanhok on the Redmi Note 10 5G overlay. As, yeah, so close for Solly. Almost was able to make the 1v3 work out, but the guns, especially those bullets, were just not enough, and he did lose that fight at the end.
Like, I do wonder why Solly was there, right? I kind of wonder why he was in such a awkward position on his own, like just a tree. Yeah, but just a tree to play with. You know, I know he got away from the fight, and maybe he was afraid to move too deep towards the centered circle, and I get that, but come on, there would have been better cover around that area rather than just one single solitary tree, right? And yeah, he did good at getting a double knock, but it just there's a bit of a weirdness there. Yeah, it was a little bit desperate.
Yeah, almost works. I know what, if he was able to confirm those 2 kills, I would have said worth at the end. He tried his best, didn't quite work out at the end, but it's still a really good attempt coming out from him. I think Solly is one of the standout players for me today, at least. So I'm happy, and I can't wait to see what he can do coming into the future. Fair. But man, Imperium, I find this interesting. You talked about this team at the very start of the event, before game 1 on Erangel, and you were like, you got hit up by a lot of people on Instagram, a lot of supporters of Rage, saying, hey, Rage going to do really well, go support Rage. And you know what? The Instagram peeps talked, and they were right. Rage were definitely the team that were going to be standing out the most in this event, head and shoulders above the rest. And we'll see, of course, that is going to be number 1, even though we are somewhat sure. We'll check out the overall standings to see which team will be taking home which prize. But at the end, it's just a great showcase. IUW2, which is a team that I personally did not know do this well on a 3-game event, I would see these teams make it to the next PMPL for the full split of 2021. I think they could do really well in the official circuit.
Definitely. And again, you know, this is also about kind of trying to discover more teams myself and find out about more players. And, you know, my radar has been expanded even more now after the 3 games. So then I'm looking out for a lot more players and a lot more teams across the board coming into the second half of the 2021 ecosystem for PUBG Mobile esports. And you mentioned about prizes. Don't forget, there is also another giveaway that's going to be happening after we reveal the winner. So there's something for you to win, as well as obviously the first, second, and third place teams taking home prizes in today's solo showdown. So man, to me, this is, or Soul Survivor should I say. So yeah, stick around, people watching. There's definitely a juicy little prize to be offered.
Yeah, you have to answer another question. Just like earlier, we're going to have 3 prizes this time, not just one phone. Like earlier, we're going to have actually 3 prizes for you guys at home. We'll see exactly what it is in just a few minutes' time. But Matt, you know what would be perfect right now, Imperium? Now would be great to have a little Vikendi. A little Vikendi, man. Just closed off like a Vikendi. Love it. Would be perfect. We're not getting it, unfortunately. I would have loved it myself. It's our favorite map, myself and Imperium.
Soon.
Hopefully soon. I'm looking towards the day where Vikendi is reinserted back into the competitive ecosystem of the game. That would make me so happy. I took a Mario voice there. That was really weird.
You know it's not going to be the same Vikendi though. It's going to be a different Vikendi.
Yes. It's good. He's got a train, and I like trains. That is very well known. I like trains indeed. So he's going to have a lot of changes. And okay, got the ASDF movie reference, I think. But
Max, do you have a girlfriend?
Anyways. No, and I think I think you can tell by how I'm talking and how I'm messing around. I think it's very, very obvious, unfortunately, Imperium. But still, looking back onto this one, we had some great teams, and I do want to reiterate this point, which is even if you did not make it into the top 3, even if you're dead last, you still made it to this event, which in the first place is great. But if this is your first time for all of these teams fighting up against other teams of this caliber on this stage, is hard because you don't have a lot of research opportunities to do versus teams.
Exactly.
So hopefully they can try to learn from this experience and get even better as time goes on. But you know what, Imperium? I'm going to be looking at the teams that are good right now as to check out the overall rankings to see where the teams end up for this Xiaomi Fans PUBG Mobile Battle Game Soul Survivor. And the first playing team, and a pretty decent margin coming their way too, is going to be none other than Team Rage themselves with 61.6 points ahead of Exit Gaming on second, and Exit Gaming also overtaking IUW.
Yep.
That is one hell of a shift in our top 3 at the end.
Man, I did call it. I thought Exit Game had done enough coming into the game 3, and IUW, what a fall from grace. 1 game was all it took. I said, did they have it in that final game? Unfortunately, they didn't. Feels bad, man. They will learn from this experience massively. But Team Rage from Pakistan being your #1 winners in the Soul Survivor event. Credit to you guys. It was just such a dominating set of performances across the board. Like 37 placement points, 24 kills. That gap, you know, that kind of separation is pretty credible. I always look for kind of a 10-point difference between kills and placements, but when you have so many placement points, it doesn't really matter if the kill points are a little bit higher than 10, because at the end of the day, in this case, it was enough to secure first place.
Yeah, 100%. Those kills definitely did work out a lot, and there's a pretty decent margin above the likes of, you know, IUW in third was 19. That's 5 kills extra over 3 games. It might not look that impressive, but over 3 games, that is actually a really decent margin to create for yourself. So very important to also keep in mind. Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty important. But I do want to say big respect to the likes of Team Rage, Exit Gaming, and IUW. All will be taking home some prizes. They're going to be ranging from the Redmi Note 10 5G phone to also some earbuds and also some devices to be able to hear some steps of your enemies to make sure you do not get sneaked upon in your own games. So congratulations to all those 3. I still want to give a big heads up and shout out to the likes of Rad. I think that this team has a lot of potential on their rotations. It's very clear caveats to their gameplay that they're going to have to try and work on. So hopefully they can get those ironed out as time goes on. But here we go. Here are the prizes for all of the top 3 teams out there. Every single team from the first place team, every player from the first place team, which is going to be Team Rage, will be taking home a Redmi Note 10 5G. Congratulations to them. Hopefully they can game it up even more with that great battery so they can keep on gaming even longer and keep those scrims going even longer. Second place will be taking home some Mi Air 2S. So that's going to be going over to none other than... well, actually, second place was... I'm mixing up everything. I have the impression over here. Ooh, lulu. Exit Gaming, there you go. I was like, wait, Exit Gaming, did they overtake it? But yes, they did. Exit Gaming did overtake it at the end, so they'll be taking home an Mi Air 2S. And in the third place, we'll be going over, they'll be taking home, actually, some Mi In-Air headphones. So congratulations to them also. And that's it. Unfortunately, if you're below third, you're not going to get anything for yourself at all. But still, you made it at this event in the first place, and that is something you can boast about in the playground with your friends at school. Or college. If you're in college, that's fine too. Oh.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely fantastic way to end things here. But we still have that giveaway, right? The Redmi Note 10 5G and the Redmi Note 10T. One more question to ask, but it is based on what we've already been talking about, right, Max? And we're even going to give them even more of a kind of a teaser or a clue by talking about the fantastic specifications of the Redmi Note 10 5G.
Look, we already did it twice, but we feel like we're going to be nice, and we want to give you guys the best chance to win some of the prizes out there. So we're going to be describing once again the Redmi Note 10 5G that powers the entirety of this event. So thank you very much to the Redmi. I'm saying thank you to a phone, but thank you, Redmi 5G. We appreciate you. Regardless, this phone has got 5G high-performance processor to support all your speed needs at home when you're gaming it out there. Sporting the powerful MediaTek Dimensity 700 5G chipset. By the way, that was the answer to the first question. You guys got it right. Congratulations. The Redmi Note 10 5G is ready to challenge the boundaries of gaming performance. Its 7nm processing technology and integrated modem offer high performance with lower power consumption, so users can enjoy prolonged use of their device without worrying about the power drain. With support for the 5G dual SIM, Redmi Note 10 5G is a productivity beast. Imperium, just like we saw here coming out from Rage, were a beast on the battlegrounds and secured himself a first place at the end.
Exactly, and to go along with that processor, you have a beautiful 6.5-inch FHD plus dot display with 90 Hz refresh rate. Offers a beautiful display with smooth usage, as well as beyond the 90 Hz. The phone is capable of adjusting the content automatically, so it will go from 90 to 60 to 30 depending on what you're doing. So if you're just watching a video on YouTube, it'll show it on 30 Hz. If you're scrolling through social media and you're switching through what your friend, you know, Karen is complaining about on Facebook, you can watch that on 60 Hz. Or if you're gaming PUBG Mobile, it'll game on 90 Hz. You know, and basically it just provides a smooth experience and optimum battery usage.
I might look at my DMs later on in Imperium. I think Karen's not going to be happy of being called out on stream. But not only that, not only can you go through the feed of Karen's, apparently, you also guys have some great camera quality to film outside if she is being a bit really annoying. With that said, you're going to have also the phone is going to be boasting, a 48 megapixel triple array camera. The Redmi Note 10 5G was made to create. So it's also its triple camera setup that's going to be included, which has a 48 megapixel main camera, a 2 megapixel macro camera, and also a 2 megapixel depth sensor. While its creativity tools, such as night mode, slow motion, time-lapse video, will turn any user in a creative professional. If you want to get some good pictures out there, that is going to be the way to go, Imperium.
And listen out for this one, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Redmi Note 10 5G touts a massive 5,000 mAh battery with 18-watt fast charging, so users can stay powered up throughout the day, even during periods of heavy usage. Again, I just really have to point out that battery is massive. It's Chungus one by that. That's how big that battery is. It is. I had to just, you know, the final, you know, poke the bear. Had to pull that word out, man. Had to.
I was so happy. It's been months since Imperium used that meme, but he brought it back from the cemetery like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. I'm not okay with this. But you know what? Hopefully you guys paid attention, because that was the last time we were going to be talking about the specs of the Redmi device. So hopefully you've got everything in your mind, because the question and the final question for the giveaway is going to be, what is the battery of the Redmi Note 10 5G? Does it have a fast charging function? And if so, what is it? Okay? And you can win yourself 3 Redmi Note 10s. That is what's going to be given away if you do answer this question correctly. Once again, the question is, what is the battery of the Redmi Note 10 5G? Does it have fast charging function? And if so, what is it? Hopefully you guys paid attention, because otherwise there will be a big prize going right underneath your nose, and I don't think that anyone will be happy about that.
That's what I said listen to when I talked about the fantastic battery that the Redmi Note 10 5G has. And again, it is only available to answer the question on YouTube. So if you're watching on another platform, head on over to YouTube, go to the Xiaomi YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button while you're at it, then answer the question in chat, and you will be in with a chance to win one of those beautiful devices. And man, you know, Xiaomi, absolute legends for putting on this event, giving opportunities for people to win devices, giving opportunities for teams to experience a higher level of PUBG Mobile action against teams across the world, and of course win prizes themselves. Credit to them. Thank you for putting this on. Plus, hey, we get to cast some fantastic games while we're at it. Can't argue with that one.
Yeah, I'm really happy that we had time to see a little bit of what Rad could bring to the table, because they're going into the PMWI just in less than a week's time right now. Was it 5 days? There was some good moments. There was some glimmers of hope, but there's definitely going to need a big step up, because then the lobbies is pretty competitive. So we're hoping to see them push it to the next level. But of course, we're going to say congratulations once again to our winners. There's going to be Team Rage. They played some fantastic game through and through, from game 1 to game 2 into game 3. Extremely consistent over the course of these 3 games. And I hope that we can see a lot more of these guys. They've got a huge community backing them up behind them. So I hope that they can make it into the future, into a PMPL, or even potentially into a championship later on down the line. That would be fantastic to see. And once again, the other 2 other teams, Exit Gaming securing himself his 2nd spot, and IUW securing himself 3rd. That's going to be our top 3 podium at the end of the day. Great showcases from a lot of these teams, and I'm hoping this is just one of the first few times we're going to see them, and I'm hoping to see them a lot more in the foreseeable future, because these are teams and players especially that have a lot of potential at making it really far in the PUBG Mobile ecosystem.
Very, very exciting stuff indeed, Max. Like, you know, whether it's success or defeat, it's very often that you get that taste, right? You know, that taste of passion, that taste of competitiveness. If it's defeat, you can turn that into success in the future. You can fuel the fire for what is to come in the future. If it's success, then you take that ball and you run with it. So very excited to see what's to come. And thank you so much to all the Xiaomi fans out there, the Xiaomi Me community, for joining us today and watching this awesome stream. All of yous are the big reason why these events take place. Supporting PUBG Mobile esports is just something that I personally couldn't thank enough.
Yeah, but that's going to be it. With that said, for the Xiaomi fans, PUBG Mobile Battle Games Soul Survival. Once again, thank you so much, as Imperial mentioned, to Xiaomi and also the Xiaomi team behind this event for putting all of this event together. It's been an absolute pleasure for myself, and I believe Imperial, I think I can speak for yourself too, for covering these games. It's been absolutely crazy to see. We had some good showcase of different regions, a clash of metas. It's always fun to see in the grand scheme of things, and we're hoping to see a lot more further on down the line. But we have I'm talking to you, Xiaomi, right now. Okay, 1-to-1. Can we put more events like this together? This was really fun. I want to see more in the future. Can we do like a 1-month league? Please,
yes,
that would be fantastic. I would love that.
Oh, I would love to see that. Definitely would love to see that. Hey, look, let's see what the future holds. Anything can happen.
You know what? I'm going to tell you what the presenter holds. We are going to be now closing off the show. Thanks so much, ladies and gentlemen, for checking out today's event. Hopefully you enjoyed the Xiaomi fans PUBG Mobile battle game, Soul Survivor. It's been an absolute pleasure to cover these games for you peeps at home, and hopefully you had a good time, and hopefully this did emphasize your weekend experience. With that said, my name is Maxman, joined with Imperium. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast, hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you around hopefully next time for another Soul Survivor event.